Chapter 116. The First Customer Gulp. The sound of Zhuge Kongming gulping could be heard clearly in the quiet supermarket, where even the sound of a pin dropping could be heard. However, his childish face was filled with struggle, as if he was hesitating whether he should say it or not. If you wait a bit longer, then the instant noodles won't taste good. If you say it now, then I can give you an egg. Plus a ham. Zhuge Kongming shouted with a look of anticipation. Deal. This child might really be hungry. Even Yi Zichen couldn't bear to watch him wolf down the food. How could he be so hungry? In less than 3 minutes, Zhuge Kongming finished the bowl of instant noodles and even the soup. He patted his stomach in satisfaction and burped. A bottle of iced cola was handed in front of him. He looked up, snatched it over and gulped it down. You ate and drank, so let's speak the truth. Yi Zichen was rather interested in this little fellow's background. I ran away from home. Zhuge Kongming frowned his immature little face and said, my family insisted on me learning some things that I don't like and wanted me to get engaged to someone I don't like. There was no helping it, so I snuck out when they weren't paying attention. It seems like he's a child from a rich family. That's right, if he wasn't from a rich family, then they really wouldn't be able to afford him. Then do you think that your family won't be able to find you by running over to my place? Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Zhuge Kongming instantly raised his head proudly. They definitely won't be able to find me, at least not in the near future. Yo, tell me the reason why you're so confident. My family is from the capital. Yi Zichen directly spat out the cola in his mouth. He looked at the little fellow in front of him, who hadn't even reached adulthood yet, in shock. F***ck. He really is capable. He ran over to Bingqing from the capital. This damn child is truly wild. Zhuge Kongming looked at the cola Yi Zichen spat out with a look of pity, as if he was regretting the cola that was wasted. After a long while, Yi Zichen finally suppressed the shock in his heart and squatted down in front of Zhuge Kongming. Little bro, not bad. You ran away from home quite thoroughly. It's all right. Zhuge Kongming smiled shyly. But he slapped him on the head. This child really thinks I'm praising him. You're just a little kid. Instead of staying at home and going to school, you ran away on your own. You even ran so far away. Aren't you afraid that your family will be worried? TSK, they made me do so many things that I don't like. Do they care about me? Zhuge Kongming raised his head stubbornly. Yi Zichen glanced at him. It was indeed a little pitiful. Regardless of whether it was a political or business marriage, this group of children were living sacrifices. Then what do you want to do? Let me stay here. I can work for you. Yi Zichen hesitated. He definitely wouldn't chase this child away. It was already a miracle that such a small child could run from Beijing to Bingqing alive. If he was allowed to run around outside, what would happen if something happened to him? After struggling for a while, Yi Zichen decided to let him stay. Since he was the child of a wealthy family, he definitely had connections. It was only a matter of time before he found him. When that time came, he would get Xiao Hai and Dongfang Wenyi to spread the news in their circle. It would be fine once the child's parents came to pick him up. It's not like I can't let you stay here. Big bro, tell me what you want me to do. Zhuge Kongming's eyes brightened. Just stay in this supermarket from now on. The second floor of the supermarket is livable. I'll buy you a bed tomorrow, you can sleep there. As for our supermarket, it doesn't sell to outsiders, understand? Doesn't sell. Zhuge Kongming was a bit confused. What was the point of opening a supermarket if it didn't sell? Don't care so much. If I say it's not for sale, then it's not for sale. Just stay here properly, Yi Zichen frowned. This damn child really has a lot of questions. Understood, I'll listen to Big Bro. Zhuge Kongming nodded repeatedly. Then you can sleep here tonight, but you have to put up with it for the night. No problem. Yi Zichen drove back home after handing the keys to the supermarket to the little fellow. With the addition of Lil Tiantian, Yirong's life became even richer, and she did not mention anything about going out to do anything again. When he entered the living room, he saw Lil Tian, Mother Yi and Lil White playing happily. Zichen's back. Daddy! Tian leaped into Yi Zichen's arms with a giggle, while Lil White also stuck out his tongue and rubbed against him. After being nurtured by the heavenly court dog Biscuit recently, Lil White seemed to be a bit bigger than before, and his fur also shined a bit brighter. As for the rest, there didn't seem to be any changes. After playing with Tian for a while, Yi Zichen sat on the sofa and took out his phone. There was still no news from the deities, causing him to feel a bit disappointed. However, Xia Kiki and Su Yan sent him quite a bit of messages. The content was none other than asking if he got the concert tickets. Yi Zichen thought about it for a while, then replied to Su Yan. I got the tickets. Buzz, not long after the message was sent, Su Yan called. Is what you said true? Isn't it just a concert ticket? Is there a need for such a huge reaction? Yes. Kiki, Yi Zichen said that he got the concert tickets. What? Kiki bang. A huge sound suddenly sounded out from the other side of the phone. Yi Zichen's heart skipped a beat as he quickly asked. Are you okay? Ouch, it hurts. Xia Kiki's voice sounded out from the other side of the phone. Not long later, a rustling sound sounded out from the other side of the phone. Rish bro, you said that you got the tickets. Are they indoors? Yes. Yi Zichen was speechless. He couldn't help but comfort her when he thought about the huge sound just now. Are you okay just now? I'm fine, I just fell down. Xia Kiki gasped as she replied. I'll get the tickets from you tomorrow. Slap. The call ended. Yi Zichen was truly worried that she fell down when he heard the busy tone. Lu Jing also floated out and asked worriedly. Is Kiki fine? She should be fine, Yi Zichen answered ambiguously. Very quickly, he looked up at Lu Jing in surprise with a playful expression. Didn't you say that you were going to ignore me? Why did you come out again? TSK, this lady just came out to get some fresh air. Zoom. She went back into the dragon eye. This ghost girl is really cute. Yi Zichen couldn't help but shake his head with a smile. Then, his phone suddenly rang. WeChat. Yi Zichen's shoulders shook. He opened WeChat and saw that third Prince Neza appeared in the spokesperson group. Chapter 117. The Empress Consort has spoken. Yi Zichen was extremely excited. After waiting for so long, the good news had finally arrived. Yes, create a chat group and add me and that customer into it. Why? Isn't it better to do it here? Third Prince Neza asked adorably. This is the endorsement group. Just the few of us are enough. Create a group and pull the customers in. They will be your customers and I will give you a commission. Commissions? I don't understand. No matter what Great Immortal says, just do it. Ding dong. Not long later, third Prince Neza created a chat group. Other than him and Yi Zichen, there was also a food god in a chef hat. Third Prince Neza. Idealism is also the god of food. God of cookery. Xiao Xian is here. Followed by a row of cute emojis. It seemed that the culinary god had lowered his status quite a bit. But that was indeed the case. The culinary god's status in the celestial court was indeed not high. Third Prince Neza. Great deity, it's the culinary god who wants to buy from you. What are you looking for? Yi Zichen's initial judgment was that the food god shouldn't be buying snacks. There was a 90% chance that he wanted to buy daily necessities. Great Immortal, I want to buy some seasonings. As expected. He sighed in his heart. If he were to buy seasonings, the price would not be so high. More importantly, this thing was durable. If he asked for cultivation experience from him, it would be a bit of a loss. That's fine. I don't need you to pay me for the condiments. I have recently been interested in cooking. Cooking? In a mansion somewhere in the third heaven of the celestial court, the culinary god wore a chef's hat and stared blankly at the news for a long time. He had been in the heavenly court for so long, but he had never heard of any great immortal being interested in cooking. It was said that this heavenly venerable nameless lived in the same place as Tai Bai Jinxing, and he actually said that he liked to cook. Little deity is willing to hand over little deity's cooking experience to great deity. So straightforward. Yi Zichen had thought that the food god would hesitate for a while. He didn't think that he would give it to him so readily. All right, then send your cooking tips to me. I don't have the condiments with me. I'll send them to you later. No problem. Ding dong. A red packet appeared on the screen. Yi Zichen clicked on it. You have received a red envelope from the culinary god. Culinary god's cooking notes X1. The culinary god was really generous. Other people gave out secret manuals one by one, but this guy gave out the whole book. Got it. Wait for the delivery. All right, great immortal. Little immortal will take his leave. As soon as he said that, the culinary god disappeared from the group. Ding dong. The person who sent him the message was Third Prince Neza. Great immortal, I've successfully brought a customer, right? Forget it. Then what benefits can I get? Commercialized management was really poisonous to this group of deities. This cute little boy, Neza, had actually started to ask for benefits. His heart ached. However, Yi Zichen was not a stingy person. Neza played a huge part in getting the secret scripture of the god of food. He thought about it. I'll give you a limit of 1,000 cultivation experience here. Wow, then can I buy a lot of snacks? Of course. Then I want 10 bottles of Nutrient Express and 6 packets of potato chip. Sure, but it'll take a while. Alright. Ding dong. Your intimacy level with Neza increased by 30. Current intimacy level, 230. Third Prince Neza seemed to be even more motivated after seeing the benefits. Yi Zichen clicked on his friend's circle and saw that this little boy had also started to post pictures. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen smiled. It seems like a group of merchants will appear in the celestial realm in the future. Noon of the next day. Rish bro. Yi Zichen stood in the mulberry forest in the school when he heard an excited shout. He looked up and saw Xia Kiki and Su Yan walk towards him side by side. More importantly, the surrounding gazes towards Yi Zichen became even weirder. There was an unwritten rule in the school's mulberry forest that the people who came here were definitely couples. Could it be that they were going to announce their relationship since they chose to meet here? Rish bro, did you wait for a long time? Susu and I bought cold drinks for you. Xia Kiki handed Yi Zichen a cup of Coke. Only then did he notice that both of them were holding a cup of Coke in their hands. The exclamations on the side became louder and louder. Yi Zichen received the Coke and scratched his head. Why did you choose to meet here, this place? What's wrong with it? Su Yan curled her lips, then swept her gaze across the surrounding students. Then, Su Yan and Xia Kiki hugged Yi Zichen's arms under the gazes of the other students. Wow. The students on the side instantly exploded. Yi Zichen gulped, then laughed dryly. Don't worry. You guys, we did it on purpose. Is that wrong? Su Yan raised her delicate chin. Xia Kiki also nodded. Su and I did it on purpose. It wasn't the two of you. Yi Zichen was truly a bit confused. We did it on purpose. Could it be that the two of them planned all of this together? Doesn't that mean that Su Yan, Kiki and I chatted a bit a few days ago? Su Yan smiled. We chatted for a long time. Xia Kiki also nodded. In the end, gulp. Yi Zichen gulp. It seems like we decided to let you off easy. Su Yan replied with squinted eyes. Yi Zichen's body trembled, while his expression froze. Aren't you happy? Two school beauties like you at the same time, and they even acknowledged each other's existence. Aren't you feeling great? Xia Kiki also raised her head and snorted playfully. But don't get cocky too early. Susu and I are in an alliance right now, and we're on the same side. That's right. Xia Kiki was right. Yi Zichen did feel super awesome. The two school beauties of Polytechnic University liked him at the same time, and they were even able to be with him. Anyone could brag about this for their entire lives if it happened to them. But it was. What the hell was on the same side? That meant that the two of them wouldn't let anyone else get involved. Then what about Xiao Yumei and Huang Xingmei? There were 4 people who were pulling strings. Yi Zichen sneaked a glance at Su Yan and Xia Kiki, then asked in a testing manner. If there's anyone else, what did you say? Before Yi Zichen could finish, Su Yan was lit on fire. On the other hand, Xia Kiki was rather calm. She was only going to get involved later, so she didn't really mind it. Yi Zichen, I'm telling you, if you dare to have another woman outside. Yi Zichen gulped, while his entire body tensed up. If there are more than 5, then just wait to die. Blink. Shock. Shock. No, Su Yan, what did you just say? Did I hear wrongly? Yi Zichen turned his head to look at Su Yan, only to see her snort as she glared at him. I said, if you have more than 5 women outside, then just wait to die. Then what if they don't? Then I can still accept it. At least we can each have a day. Chapter 118. The low EQ Gu Tian is here again. Such a dramatic ending was really unexpected. Yi Zichen looked at Su Yan, who had a bitter look on her face, and Xia Kiki, who also had a rather gloomy expression, before pulling them into his arms. Are you touched? If you are, then hurry up and give us the concert tickets. Su Yan and Xia Kiki, who were in his arms, suddenly struggled out and stretched out their hands to ask for tickets. There was something wrong with the script. At this time, shouldn't the 3 of them act a little coquettishly towards each other while he promised them that he wouldn't mess around in the future to make these 2 beauties happy? What are you looking at? Give us the tickets. Oh. Women's thoughts are truly unfathomable. Yi Zichen took out 2 concert tickets from his pocket in confusion and placed them in the 2 girls' hand. Alright, you can go now. The moment Yi Zichen got his ticket, he was chased away by the 2 of them. He strolled under the mulberry forest in the school with a dumbfounded look on his face. His mind kept replaying the scene just now. What the hell? Are you happy now? Lu Jing flew in front of Yi Zichen with a frown. I really don't know what Kiki and that Su Yan were thinking. How could they let a scum like you benefit? How am I a scum? You already have a girlfriend, yet you still flirt outside. Isn't that scum? Lu Qing placed her hands on her waist and said arrogantly. Yi Zichen was rendered speechless by the wretched girl's words. He definitely wouldn't let down any of the women around him. However, it had to be said that this was a little unfair to them. Speechless, right? Lu Jing raised her head proudly. At that moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared in front of Yi Zichen. Brother Yi, little ghost girl. Gu Tian. Yi Zichen hadn't seen him in a long time. Of course, he didn't want to see him. His EQ was too low, and his words attracted too much attention. Why don't you just stay at your shopping mall? Why do you keep coming to our Polytechnic University? I was looking for you. Gu Tian pursed his lips and smiled. I even met sister-in-law on my way here earlier, and we chatted for a while. Little sister-in-law. This brat was definitely talking about Xia Kiki. What do you want from me? Just say it. Yi Zichen resisted the urge to hit him. Gu Tian raised his eyebrows. Don't worry. By the way, when I saw sister-in-law just now, there was a beauty standing beside her. When that beauty heard me call her little sister-in-law, she looked a little unhappy. She's still your sister-in-law. She'll be happy when she sees both of them. Wow, Brother Yi, you're really something. Gu Tian walked around Yi Zichen with his hands behind his back. You have such a cute ghost girl by your side, and 2 beauties who like you. You won't even let go of beauties and ghosts. Amazing. Yi Zichen's expression darkened. He squinted his eyes and glanced at Gu Tian with a smile. If you say another word of nonsense, believe it or not, I will beat you up. Why did you hit me? Am I not telling the truth? Don't stop me. Let me beat this grandson to death. Finally, Yi Zichen was stopped by Lu Jing. However, Gu Tian muttered in confusion, What's wrong? Why are you so excited? I. Yi Zichen raised his hand to hit Gu Tian. However, Lu Jing pulled him back and frowned towards Gu Tian. Can't you say a bit less? Alright, but brother Yi really. F*CKU for real. Bang. This time, even Lu Jing didn't stop him. This brat was truly asking for a beating. Yi Zichen kicked Gu Tian's butt, causing him to get beaten up. Two people squatted in front of the cold drinks store in Polytechnic University. Gu Tian sniffled as he held a cup of iced Coke and looked innocently at Yi Zichen. Why did you hit me? Why wouldn't I hit you? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. To be honest, this brat was rather resistant to beatings. If it was a normal person, they would already be lying in the hospital. This brat was actually able to sit here and drink with him. Yi Zichen ignored Gu Tian's resentful gaze and lit a cigarette for himself, then glanced at him. What exactly did you find me for? Gu Tian's expression turned serious when he mentioned that. A while ago, I saw an evil ghost that the underworld didn't take away in a haunted house. I can't subdue it by myself, so I wanted Brother Yi to come with me. I knew that Gu Tian didn't find me for anything good, but I didn't think that it would be something like this. Haunted house. Evil ghost. Only someone sick in the head would go. This is the haunted house that you were talking about? Yi Zichen put his hands on his waist and looked at the house in front of him. The house in front of him seemed to be quite old. There were no windows or doors, and he could feel a faint chill when he got closer. This is it. Compared to Yi Zichen's casual nature, Gu Tian was clearly much more vigilant. He had been here a few times, so he knew very well just how ferocious the guy inside was. Then let's go in and take a look. Yi Zichen was rather interested in this evil ghost. He had seen the black and white impermanences catch ghosts several times. He didn't think that there would be a ghost that could escape from them. Thus, he wanted to see just what this evil ghost looked like. It felt a bit different from the outside, but the moment he entered this crappy house, creepy. The moment Yi Zichen stepped into the abandoned manor, he felt all the hairs on his body stand up. He couldn't help but circulate his protective chi and walk forward step by step. Where is the evil ghost you were talking about? Why haven't I seen it yet? Yi Zichen walked around the house with Gu Tian for a few minutes, but he didn't see any sign of the evil ghost. It might have gone to sleep. Bang. Yi Zichen raised his hand and knocked Gu Tian's head. Are you F***king kidding me? Ghost sleep? Who's kidding you? Gu Tian said with a troubled expression. Could it be that the little ghost girl beside you doesn't sleep? She. Crack. A clear sound suddenly sounded out from within the mansion. Gu Tian and Yi Zichen's expressions instantly tensed up. After looking around, the two of them set their gaze on the door in front of them. It seems to have come from here, right? I think so. Gu Tian gulped and said. Bang. Yi Zichen didn't think too much about it. He kicked the door open, and the two of them charged in. A scream sounded out from within the room the moment the door was broken open. Yi Zichen and Gu Tian looked towards the source of the sound. You're not allowed to look. A girl squatted in the corner of the room, peeing. Lucy, why are you here? Yi Zichen was confused. The sound just now should have been caused by her stepping on something in the room. But why did this girl come to this crappy place? Could this be her house? Why do you care? Hurry up and turn around. Lucy's face was covered in red. Lucy's face was completely red. Only then did Yi Zichen react and drag Gu Tian around. The moment he turned around, Lu Jing, who was in the dragon eye, suddenly shouted. I'm out! What? Yi Zichen suddenly turned around. Chapter 119. Subduing ghosts, we can't let it succeed. Gu Tian frowned. This kind of evil spirit loved Yin Qi the most. The Yin energy in a woman's body was the most abundant. If it succeeded, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yi Zichen frowned, then quickly ran over. Who asked you to turn around? Before Lucy even put on her pants, she saw Yi Zichen run in front of her. Hugging Lucy, he clenched his right hand into a fist and punched the shadow. Oh, a cold voice sounded out. Yi Zichen didn't care if the ghost was male or female, and kicked it in the crotch. However, at that moment, Lucy's lower body was practically naked, and Yi Zichen's hands when he grabbed her rogue. Pa Lucy suddenly slapped Yi Zichen. Yi Zichen, who was in a battle of wits with the evil ghost, was instantly confused by the slap. Are you sick? You're the one who's sick. I'm going to call the police. You molested a young girl. Lucy screamed, causing Yi Zichen to snicker. His gaze swept over her body without any scruples. Are young girls so well developed these days? Yi Zichen. Lu Jing, who was in the dragon eye, exclaimed. Yi Zichen smiled nonchalantly, then punched the evil ghost's nose without even turning his head. Gu Tian, play with this little fellow for a while. Gu Tian was shocked. He had watched his family exorcise ghosts for so many years, but he had never seen Yi Zichen fight a ghost directly like this. Nodding his head subconsciously, Gu Tian charged towards the evil ghost. Yi Zichen also put Lucy to the side and opened WeChat. What are you doing? Lucy immediately tried to snatch Yi Zichen's phone. I'm telling you, don't think about threatening me with photos. If you dare to take pictures, I'll call the police. Do you have a persecutory delusion? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at her in annoyance, then opened the yin-yang box in his phone. There was also a ghost-controlling talisman that white impermanence had given him. He wondered if it would be useful against this guy. Extraction. A pale yellow talisman fell into his hand. On the other side, Gu Tian took out a peachwood sword out of nowhere and waved it at the evil ghost. When he saw this, Yi Zichen only had one thought. Low. Too low and pooey. Yi Zichen spat onto the sigil, then leaped up and stuck it onto the ghost's head. The moment he touched it, the ghost stopped moving. The talisman on his forehead gradually dimmed until it completely disappeared from his forehead. At the same time, the ghost-controlling talisman returned to the yin-yang box on the phone. The only change was that the number of demon controllers remaining had increased to 2. Come here. Yi Zichen hooked his finger towards the evil ghost. After the ghost-controlling sigil entered his body, the evil ghost had to listen to his orders. Under Gu Tian's shocked gaze, the wraith slowly turned back into its original form, and walked towards Yi Zichen while bowing. Boss. The original body of the evil spirit was also a muscular man. From the looks of it, there was an 80% chance that he was a soldier. Of course, he couldn't rule out the possibility of mercenary group. Gu Tian was dumbfounded when he heard the word boss. Yi Zichen subdued the ghost? It was true that they could all see ghosts, but Lucy could not. Who are you talking to? A ghost. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance and cursed. Girl, you truly don't know how to tell good from bad, do you know? If Lousy didn't save you just now, don't mention pulling up your pants, you might have directly died. Do you understand? Who are you trying to trick? Lucy twitched her mouth. Yi Zichen looked towards the evil ghost with his eyes. Let the friend over there feel your existence. All right. The burly man clenched his fists and walked towards Lucy. Not long after, Lucy felt an unbearable coldness surrounding her. She couldn't help but shiver, then screamed and ran to Yi Zichen's side. You believe me now? Lucy hugged her arms tightly and trembled. Her entire face turned pale, and she was unable to say anything for a long time. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled, then glanced down her body. Girl, you didn't pull up your pants. You? After leaving the old manor, the evil ghost was completely subdued by Yi Zichen. Since it was not a good idea to keep calling him evil ghost, they gave him the name Dahe. It was a perfect match for Xiaobai at home. Gu Tian's gaze towards Yi Zichen turned even weirder, while Lucy did the same. You didn't take any pictures with your phone, did you? Lucy crossed her arms and stared at Yi Zichen. If you take a picture, then you're dead. I'm not interested in young girls. Yi Zichen smiled playfully. When the man's face turned bright red, he laughed softly. What are you doing here? Don't you know this is a haunted house? What haunted house? This is my home. Lucy raised her head and said, I haven't sued you for trespassing. Yi Zichen glanced towards Gu Tian. When he saw Gu Tian shrug, Yi Zichen immediately understood that Gu Tian didn't know that there was someone living there. He looked Lucy up and down. It was a miracle that the girl had lived here all this time without any trouble. What are you looking at? I don't live here. This is a very old house. I came here to find something. Oh, then you're pretty amazing. You peed and pooped in your own home. If your parents found out, wouldn't they beat you to death? I couldn't help it. Lucy raised her eyebrows. What's more, that place used to be the bathroom. Is that so? Yi Zichen looked at her meaningfully. Lucy bit her lips, then bumped into him with her cheeks and glared. I'm telling you, if I find out that you… Just you wait. She ran away in a flash. Yi Zichen thought that the girl was shy, but he heard Blackie, who was on the side, speak up. Boss, you lost something. Lost something? Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment. Blackie nodded. When the girl bumped into you just now, she stole a few pieces of paper from your pocket. Yi Zichen reached into his pocket, which contained Yang Yusher's concert ticket. Then he checked the number of tickets left. As expected, there were 4 missing. Wow, this woman. After running for 5 or 6 minutes, Lucy finally stopped and twitched her mouth proudly. Stupid, you don't even know that you lost your concert ticket. Although she knew that stealing other people's things wasn't good, but that damn guy saw her like that, so what if she took a few of his concert tickets? Thinking that, Lucy instantly calmed down, then took out her phone and dialed a number. Chapter 120. The so-called Gu family, the evil spirit has been subdued. Why are you still following me? Yi Zichen was truly a bit speechless. No matter where he went, Gu Tian would follow him. He was like a bug that couldn't be shaken off. Brother, please accept me as your little brother. Gu Tian suddenly spoke with a sincere expression. As a lackey. Yi Zichen smiled wryly and shook his head. Is there something wrong with your head? What is my status, and what is your status? You want to be my lackey? Yes. Gu Tian nodded with certainty, and there was even a trace of adoration in his eyes. Brother, you're really too cool. Our Gu family has dealt with ghosts for so long, but we've never seen anyone refine ghosts like you. Especially that talisman of yours. What kind of talisman is that? Why is he so obedient when you slap it on him? You want to know? Yi Zichen smiled playfully, causing Gu Tian to nod like a chick pecking at grains. I want to know. But I don't want to tell you. Yi Zichen's expression instantly darkened. Hurry up and *CK off. I don't have time for you right now. If you don't leave, Blackie. The evil ghost, Blackie, who was just subdued by Yi Zichen, immediately walked over. Dahei's body shape was relatively large, and it was also extremely tall. Standing in front of Gu Tian, he was like a small mountain. He gulped down a mouthful of saliva. Gu Tian smiled embarrassedly as he took 2 steps back. All right, I'm leaving now. Let's keep in touch on the phone. Only after Gu Tian left did Blackie walk over with an expressionless face, and he curled his lips towards Gu Tian's back. Boss, is that kid from the Gu family? You know the Gu family? Yi Zichen was slightly stunned. I know a little. Dahei nodded noncommittally. Tell me. He had always been rather curious about Gu Tian's origins. The Gu family, in particular, was able to communicate with ghosts. Could it be that the Mao Mountain Taoist priests on television really existed? Dahei's face darkened. It held its cheek with its right hand and frowned. The Gu family does not belong to the modern world. Their family can be called a hidden family. To put it bluntly, the clan is proficient in the profound technique. To be able to see ghosts, to be able to catch ghosts, it should be classified in that place. That place. Yi Zichen's expression tensed when he heard Blackie mention that place as well. What kind of place is that? Tell me everything you know. Boss, I'm not too sure either. Dahei shook its head and smiled bitterly. When I was on a mission when I was alive, I heard the captain mention it a few times. However, what we can be sure of is that the people in that place are absolutely transcendent existences. Even our captain is filled with reverence when he mentions that place. That is definitely not a place that ordinary people can come into contact with. From what you've said, you seem to have quite a story. Yizichin was rather displeased that he wasn't able to learn the secret of that place from Blackie. But according to Dahe's tone, it was not an ordinary person when it was alive. Boss, I can't say. He's already dead. What's there to hide? Yizichin shook his head with a smile, while Blackie replied seriously. We signed a confidentiality agreement when we were alive. Even in death, I still have to keep that promise. I'm sorry, boss, I really can't tell you. To be honest, Yizichin was shocked by Blackie's serious expression just now. He wasn't exaggerating, but he really did feel a righteous aura just now, causing Blackie's figure to instantly become a lot more majestic. For someone to be able to do that, Yizichin felt that Blackie should have served the country when it was alive. Yizichin raised his eyebrows with a smile instead of asking about Blackie's background. From the looks of it, you shouldn't be a bad person when you were alive? Then why did you go and capture Lucy just now? Capture her? Blackie said in confusion. I didn't want to capture her. Then just now. I just woke up and was about to walk around. I didn't expect to bump into you guys. Blackie was speechless, especially when he thought about Yizichin's kick. Although he was a ghost, a kick in the crotch still hurt. So it's like that, haha. Yizichin laughed dryly. So it turns out they misunderstood. Yizichin patted the dragon eye in his pocket and called Lu Jing out. Blackie was stunned when he saw Lu Jing. Do you specialize in collecting ghosts like us who didn't die yet? You didn't die yet as well? What do you think? If I did, then wouldn't I have been captured by the black and white impermanence already? I even met the white impermanence a few days ago. I told her to take me to the underworld, but she didn't. Blackie revealed a helpless expression. Don't think that it was easy for him to say the black and white impermanence. He was an absolute atheist when he was alive. Even after he died, he still maintained his atheism. However, as time passed, he noticed this world was different from the one he knew before. Yizichin nodded in understanding, then patted Blackie's shoulder a few times. Don't panic. Follow me properly. I'll revive you guys in the future if I have the chance. Really? Big Black glared and said, if you can really revive me, then my life is yours. Isn't it now? Yizichin couldn't help but smile. He raised his eyebrows when he saw Blackie's slightly anxious expression. You two have to get along well from now on. But according to the timeline, Lu Jing will be your boss from now on. Wow, I also have a little brother. Lu Jing flew around Yizichin excitedly. Blackie nodded without showing any signs of displeasure. No problem. In a business suite of a high-class hotel in Ice City. The white-haired Elder Hua reported the recent happenings in the Gu clan to Gu Tian with his hands behind his back. You're saying that I've been removed as the successor of the family? Gu Tian chuckled and grabbed an apple from the side. His face was full of disapproval, as if the position of the family's young patriarch was not attractive to him at all. Young Master Little Tian, don't you have any ambition at all? Elder Hua sighed at the side. This young master had always been ostracized when he was still in the clan. She had thought that he had chosen to hide in Ice City as a way to advance by retreating. However, from the looks of it, he didn't seem to care about the position of young family head at all. Of course I have ambition. Gu Tian sighed lightly and said with a smile, but you must have strength, right? In the family, big brother and third brother are both above me in terms of means and talent. What should I do? You can't just give up like that, right? Elder Hua sighed. Young Master Little Tian, if you want the position of young family head, then this old fellow can help you to the very end. Elder Hua, no need. Gu Tian shook his head with a smile. Do you still remember Yizichin? Of course, that brat. Gu Tian raised his hand to stop Elder Hua before he spoke with a light smile. Chapter 121. Bai Yang comes to me. Yi Zichen stood on the second floor of the supermarket and pointed at the wooden bed that he bought from the second-hand market. This bed looks a little shabby, but I'll make do with it. The bedding is brand new. Zhuge Kongming didn't show any signs of disdain. He nodded his head excitedly and grinned. Thank you, Brother Yi. Although this little guy's origin was unknown, his personality was still very likable. Yi Zichen reached out and rubbed his head. Is there any problem with the supermarket? Yes. Zhuge Kongming wrinkled his nose and said, in the morning, a few people came to our supermarket to collect protection fees, but I beat them away. I collected protection fees, but you beat them away? Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned. He didn't think that the little fellow was lying to him. Collecting protection fees happened everywhere, it was a common sight. He didn't expect this little guy to be so fierce. He was able to chase away those who could collect protection fees. I've practiced a few moves with Grandpa before. Before he could finish his sentence, there was a sudden violent knocking on the door downstairs. Yi Zichen and company followed the sound and hurried over. The moment they arrived at the entrance, Zhuge Kongming frowned. Here we go again. That's them? Yi Zichen's tone was rather unfriendly. Zhuge Kongming also took 2 steps forward and shouted with his hands on his waist. Do you still want to get beaten up? The people outside froze. It seemed that this little guy had given them quite a deep lesson back then. At this moment, Bai Yang walked out from the group of people holding clubs and snorted. Yi Zichen, if you don't open the door, then don't blame me for being rude. Brother Yi. Zhuge Kongming turned around to look. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile, then walked to the door and opened it. Master Bai. Grandson, are you going to admit defeat? Bai Yang narrowed his eyes and snorted. His arm was still wrapped in bandages. Obviously, the injury from the other day at the club hadn't completely healed. You really made me look for you. I didn't expect you to be hiding here. Yi Zichen nodded. Seeing Yi Zichen's stubbornness, Bai Yang reached out and slapped him. Bang. You can't hit my brother Yi. In the blink of an eye, even Yi Zichen was unable to see Zhuge Kongming's movements clearly before Bai Yang shot out like a cannonball. However, Dahei's pupils shrank as it exclaimed. Octane blast. Zhuge Kongming, who had been stubbornly raising his head, suddenly turned his head. His eyes flashed as he glared at Dahei. However, it was only for a moment and no one noticed it at all. Yi Zichen's face was also filled with shock. This little fellow's battle prowess is truly extraordinary. What are you waiting for? Smash. This is my painstaking effort. I can't let you touch it. With that, Yi Zichen turned into a blur. Dong, 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 dong. The group of hooligans that followed Bai Yang all fell to the ground. Yi Zichen clapped his hands and squatted down in front of Bai Yang. Bai Yang looked at him as if he was looking at a monster and shouted. You'd better not touch me, or I'll make you suffer. That's great. I like takeaway food that I can't finish. That way it won't be wasted. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped Bai Yang's face. The force of the slap instantly caused the entire left side of his face to swell up. Young Master Bai, why are you doing this? I already told you very clearly that day. What did you come for this time? Do you want revenge? You're dead, you're dead. Bai Yang pointed his finger at Yi Zichen. Crack. Yi Zichen broke Bai Yang's finger without any hesitation. At the same time, he slapped Bai Yang once again. I don't know if I'm dead or not. I only know that if you say one more useless sentence to me, then you're dead. With that, Dahei floated in front of Bai Yang under Yi Zichen's signal. An unbearable coldness caused Bai Yang to involuntarily shiver. He stared at Yi Zichen, who had a faint smile on his face, and cowered. I was wrong, ah? Yi Zichen was stunned. Young Master Yi, let me go just this once. This change in attitude was way too king fast. Yi Zichen thought that this grandson could last a few rounds with him. He didn't think that he would be scared so quickly and completely. Yi Zichen scratched his head, then stood up from the ground and looked down at Bai Yang. Reason. If young Master Yi lets me go this time, then I can compensate young Master Yi. Yi Zichen was rather lacking in money. Without the fiery eyes of truth, he wouldn't be able to make a living recently. The money for the supermarket was spent by Su Yun, and the pocket money he had was given by Xiao Yumei. He still needed money. How much? 100,000. Bai Yang crossed his 2 index fingers with a trembling hand. Yi Zichen kicked him and cursed. Do you think that your dog life is only worth 100,000 yuan? 200,000. Bang. Yi Zichen kicked him again. 300,000. Bai Yang continuously increased the price. Yi Zichen didn't have the patience to waste time with him, so he directly raised a finger. 1,000,000 in exchange for your life. You can also take your lackeys with you. 1,000,000. Bai Yang's face was ashen. How could he have so much pocket money on hand? I don't want to repeat it if you feel like you can't take it out. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled, then grabbed one of Bai Yang's fingers. Crack. I'll give. Bai Yang practically clenched his teeth and shouted. He took out his phone with a trembling hand and shouted into the phone. Dad, hurry up and send 1,000,000 over. Bai Yang hung up the phone, then endured the piercing pain from his finger and said, Young Master Yi, my dad will bring money to redeem me later. Is that so? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and smiled like a poisonous snake. Why do I feel like your dad will bring people over? Bai Yang's Adam's apple bobbed up and down. He had indeed used a secret code to tell his father to bring people over. Only the father and son knew about the code. How did Yi Zichen know? Just as Bai Yang was struggling in his heart, Yi Zichen reached out and patted his shoulders. Don't be nervous, I'm just joking. A good half an hour passed. Bai Yang's 2 broken fingers were practically swollen like steamed buns. During this period of time, Yi Zichen did not punch or kick him. It was as if he was truly waiting for Bai Yang's dad to give him money. Grandson, you'll cry later. Bai Yang glared fiercely at Yi Zichen's back, while Lu Jing twitched her mouth in midair. Lu Jing, who floated in midair, twitched her mouth. Why did you keep him? Dahe also nodded noncommittally. Based on its character, it would be considered clean if it didn't beat the *T out of him. Yi Zichen, who was sitting on the chair with his legs crossed, suddenly smiled. Chapter 122. Instigation. A gray Mercedes-Benz followed by 3 black Jetta appeared in everyone's line of sight. The eyes of Bai Yang, who was lying on the ground, lit up as he scrambled in front of the Mercedes-Benz. 10 odd well-trained men with black short sleeves and clubs got out of the Jetta, while a middle-aged fatty also got out of the Mercedes-Benz. Dad! Bai Yang cried out when he saw the middle-aged fatty. The fatty looked at his finger, while a dark expression surfaced on his oily face. Who did it? Dad, it's that brat. Bai Yang resisted the pain from his finger and pointed towards Yi Zichen, who was sitting at the door. Grandson, let's see how you're going to run this time. Bai Yang thought hatefully in his heart. At the same time, Zhuge Kongming also pursed his lips and stood in front of Yi Zichen. However, at that moment, Yi Zichen smiled playfully. You're Bai Yang's dad? The middle-aged fatty's shoulders trembled when he heard that. He slowly raised his head and saw Yi Zichen raise his eyebrows at him with a faint smile. Yi Zichen, if you don't want to die, then hurry up and kowtow and apologize to Grandpa. Otherwise, you'll be in for a treat. Bai Yang cursed first. He had quite a lot of resentment towards Yi Zichen right now. Yi Zichen stole his woman and even dared to hit him. Dad, kill this brat, slap. The middle-aged fatty raised his hand and slapped Bai Yang's face. The strength of the slap was so great that it actually spun him around. Hurry up and apologize to young Master Yi. Bai Yang covered his face in confusion. The Hulk who got off the Jetta was also a bit confused by the scene and didn't know what to do with his club. Yi Zichen slowly walked over with a warm smile. The fatty quickly lowered his head and pressed down on Bai Yang's head with his right hand. Bai Dahai, you really gave birth to a good son. A thin layer of sweat instantly appeared on Bai Dahai's head. Yi Zichen gave Zhuge Kongming a look, then took out a pack of tissues from the supermarket and chucked it in front of Fatty Bai. Wipe it. Thank you, young Master Yi. Fatty Bai bowed and replied. Bai Yang glared at him and scolded. Bai Yang, who was on the side, glared and cursed, Dad, this grandson is nothing. I already investigated him. He's just a poor student, what are you doing? Bang. A kick landed on Bai Yang's body. Fatty Bai was really anxious. His son was too retarded. He had already done this much. Could it be that he still couldn't see anything? Dad, don't call me. Go apologize to young Master Yi. Fatty Bai shouted with a red neck. He knew very well just how vicious Yi Zichen was, and how ruthless he was. He had done this in order to preserve his son's life, but this son, no need. Yi Zichen shook his head with a smile, then pointed at Bai Yang's finger. I suggest you get someone to send him to the hospital to reattach his finger. As for you, I want to talk to you. Young Master Yi Bai Dahai didn't know what Yi Zichen meant, but at that moment, Yi Zichen had already returned to the supermarket. He narrowed his eyes and licked his lips. After signaling his men to take Bai Yang to the hospital, he walked into the supermarket alone. There are no chairs in the supermarket. Just stand there. Yi Zichen, who was sitting at the cashier counter, said. Fatty Bai looked around when he entered the room, then nodded repeatedly when he heard Yi Zichen's words. No problem, my back isn't good. I'll be fine after standing for a while. The corners of Yi Zichen's mouth curled up slightly, and he tapped the table with his fingers. Do you know why I intentionally made you come here? I don't. Bai Dahai shook his head with a dry smile. Actually, I've always been rather curious. Why did Director Bai give me the jewelry store that you worked so hard for half your life without any hesitation? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and lit a cigarette for himself. Even if I buy enough ores, you won't have any jade in storage. This will cause your jewelry store's reputation to drop and your profits to suffer. But it seems like you can persist. Fatty Bai, who was standing on the side, rolled his bean-sized eyes. Young Master Yi is right, but I'm already old, I don't have the drive of a young person. If I work with young Master Yi, although the jewelry store isn't mine, as the second shareholder of the jewelry store, I'll get even more profit than when I was working alone. Businessmen all do it to earn money. Bang. Before Fatty Bai finished, Yi Zichen already slammed the table and stood up. This slap caused Fatty Bai, who was sitting opposite him, to tremble in fear. Bai Dahai, you still don't want to tell me the truth, right? More and more sweat appeared on Fatty Bai's face. He didn't even bother to wipe the sweat off his face and allowed it to drip onto the floor. His entire body tensed up, while his heart beat intensely. Don't be nervous. At that moment, Yi Zichen stood up once again and took out a few tissues for him. Hurry up and wipe it off. Look at how much you're sweating, you should lose weight. Young Master Yi is right. Fatty Bai was clearly out of breath when he said this. His eyes flashed as he wiped the sweat off his face, then he said softly. Young Master Yi, my unfilial son offended you. I apologize in his place. With that, Fatty Bai bowed deeply towards Yi Zichen. Young people are always impulsive. Yi Zichen smiled in a very friendly manner. Fatty Bai also nodded with a coy smile. But, gulp. Young Master Yi, what exactly do you want to say? Just say it directly. Fatty Bai's heart was about to explode. He didn't know what Yi Zichen wanted to say to him at all. If he continued to be tortured by Yi Zichen like this, then he really didn't know whether he would go crazy or not. Since you said that, then I'll satisfy you. Yi Zichen's playful smile suddenly disappeared. He returned to the cashier counter and directly took out a document from under the table, then chucked it towards Bai Dahai. See for yourself. Bai Dahai picked up the document in confusion. However, when he saw the photo on the first page, bang. Young Master Yi, I'm innocent. Bai Dahai knelt onto the floor with a thud. His pupils contracted as he shouted that he was innocent. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and leaned back on the chair. Stop pretending, I know everything. Young Master Yi, I know your wife and daughter are in Hao Wen's hands. You only chose to cooperate with him because you had no other choice. However, I can take your wife and daughter back from his hands. Do you know what to do? Zoom. Bai Dahai, who was kneeling on the floor, suddenly stood up and said with a serious expression with bloodshot eyes. Young Master Yi, what do you want to do? I will completely cooperate with you. Chapter 123. King Qingguang was captured. Bai Dahai told Yi Zichen everything about the plan between him and Hao Wen. He did not hide anything, and the contents were pretty much the same as what Dongfang when he said. Only then did Yi Zichen stop worrying. This grandson had truly surrendered. After sending him away, Yi Zichen remembered that third Prince Neza and the God of Food's goods had not been sent yet. Scan. Ding dong. Third Prince Neza's red packet. Scan. Ding dong. The God of Food's red packet. After Yi Zichen marked all the red packets with his name, he left the chat group. At that moment, Su Yan's call came. Yi Zichen hung up after chatting for a bit. He looked at Zhuge Kongming, who was beside him, and patted his head. I'm leaving. Stay here and look after the house properly. No problem. Zhuge Kongming giggled. In order to ensure this kid's safety, Yi Zichen intentionally left Blackie here as well. So boring, do you want to chat for a bit? The moment Yi Zichen left the supermarket, Zhuge Kongming suddenly pursed his lips into a smile and said softly to Blackie, who was in midair. Yi Zichen naturally did not know the situation in the supermarket. At that moment, he was standing in front of the girls' dormitory with a look of confusion. When Su Yan called him and told him that she didn't want the tickets for the concert anymore, it was clearly them who acted like they had to get the tickets. Now that they didn't want it anymore, he was a bit confused. Women's thoughts were truly hard to understand. Not long later, Su Yan walked out of the girls' dormitory. What is it? You don't want the tickets for the concert anymore? Yi Zichen was confused. Su Yan smiled and nodded. Yeah, I don't want it anymore. Yeah, I don't want it. You can have this ticket. Slap. Su Yan slapped the 2 concert tickets into Yi Zichen's hands. Yi Zichen was very confused as he held the 2 tickets in his hands. What did I do to make you unhappy? Yi Zichen asked carefully. That shouldn't be the case. The atmosphere between them was so good at noon. They didn't see each other after that, so there was no reason for her to be angry. Su Yan giggled when she saw Yi Zichen's careful look. No, it's just that my roommate got 4 concert tickets from somewhere. Coco and I thought about it. It's a waste to leave the ticket with us, so why don't we return it to you? Perhaps someone in your dorm might need it. Also an infield ticket? Yeah. As they spoke, Su Yan's phone rang. My roommate told me to go back to play poker. I'm going to hang up. Oh. Yi Zichen stood blankly on the spot and nodded. Su Yan, who was about to enter the dorm, suddenly turned back. She kissed him on the cheek. Bye-bye. Yi Zichen's face was covered in a silly smile as he watched Su Yan return to the dorm. It seemed like he didn't lose anything. Ever since Yi Zichen rose up in the alliance, his roommates had been clinging onto him tightly. As soon as he entered the room, his roommate yelled at him to turn on the computer. Since he had nothing better to do, Yi Zichen turned on his computer and prepared to play a few rounds with them. But at this moment, the phone on the table rang. Your intimacy level with white impermanence increased by 100. Current intimacy level, 400. You obtained 3,000 heaven and earth merit. Your position in the underworld has been promoted. Current position, level 3 ghost servant. Yi Zichen was shocked when he saw these 2 messages. Then, white impermanence sent him a message. King Qingguang's birthday banquet has ended. Easy, what are you doing? Hurry up and go online. Kong Ping shouted. I'm not playing anymore, you guys go ahead. Yi Zichen jumped onto the bed and clicked on his chat with white impermanence. It seems like King Qingguang likes your present a lot? Yeah, King Qingguang was rather happy when he saw that carton of cigarettes, and even praised me. It's just that the birthday banquet went rather. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows when he saw white impermanence's message. Praising you is a good thing, what's wrong with the birthday banquet? You also know that the underworld is controlled by the heavenly court. There are clear rules that underworld officials are not allowed to hold birthday banquet. But it was fine in the past, the heavenly court wouldn't know at all, but this time, the heavenly court suddenly found out. There was no helping it, so the birthday banquet could only end abruptly. F***ck. Didn't I leak the secret? Back then, he had unintentionally leaked the information to Geezer Tai Bai. He didn't think that it would cause so much trouble. Then what happened to King Qingguang? King Qingguang was brought to the heavenly court by Tai Bai jinxing. I wonder what will happen. Right now, the other 9 Yama Kings of the 10 Yama Kings are gathered together to discuss a strategy. If the heavenly court doesn't let him go, then we, the underworld, might bring people over to snatch him. So serious? Yi Zichen scratched his head. He didn't see such a deep conflict between the heavenly court and the underworld when he read Journey to the West. Why did he find out that they seemed to be enemies the moment he interacted with them? That's right, who would want to be a lackey for their entire life? Perhaps those guys in the underworld had enough of being grandsons, so they wanted to be the big brother. However, Yi Zichen definitely didn't want to see the heavenly court and the underworld fighting. His little supermarket had just started to improve in the heavenly court. If they F***king fought, then how was he supposed to earn cultivation experience by selling goods? White impermanence, you have to tell the 9 Yama Kings not to get excited. Neither side benefits if they fight. Yeah, white impermanence clearly agreed with his words. White impermanence obviously agreed with his words and said, I don't want to fight either, but I don't have any say in the underworld. I'm just a level 7 ghost servant, I haven't even reached the level of a ghost messenger. How could the 9 Yama Kings care about me? There were 10 levels in the underworld, and above level 10 were ghost messengers. It was pretty much the same in the heavenly court. There were 10 levels of celestial officials, and above level 10 were sky immortals. The method of promotion was very simple. It was cultivation experience and heaven and earth merits. Once they accumulated a certain amount, they would be promoted. A level 7 ghost servant wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. However, compared to the 9 Yama Kings, it was indeed like a shrimp. Yi Zichen sat on the bed and scratched his head. Should I tell Tai Bai jinxing that the underworld wants to rebel? As soon as this thought appeared in his mind, he discarded it. If Tai Bai jinxing, that damn geezer, told him, then he would definitely bring the heavenly army and flatten the underworld. He was clearly such a kind elder in Tai Bai jinxing's previous life. Why did he become so violent now? It seems like I'm the only one who can solve this problem. I might even be able to play the role of a mediator between the underworld and the heavenly court. How about this, white impermanence, add me into your group. I have a way to save King Qingguang. One moment. White impermanence, who had a trusted intimacy level, trusted Yi Zichen's words unconditionally. Not long later. Ding dong. Chapter 124. Transaction. The 10 Infernal Kings actually took the initiative to add him as a friend. Actually, Yi Zichen just wanted to use the chance to get into the underworld's friend circle, and save King Qingguang along the way in order to gain some good karma in the underworld. Now, King Chu Jiang directly added him as a friend. It was rumored that King Chu Jiang was in charge of the second hall of hell, an existence second only to King Qingguang. Confirm. The first thing he did was to check the intimacy level. 100. Yi Zichen instantly calmed down when he saw the number. At least it wasn't cold. Ding dong. Yi Zichen thought that King Chujiang would send him a message, but he didn't expect him to directly create a group and add white impermanence as well. King Chujiang, white impermanence, you said he's the one who can save King Qingguang? Idealism, white impermanence. Yes, it's him. King Chujiang, idealism. You're not a member of the underworld. This king has just checked the records of the 10 infernal kings, and you're not among them. Who are you? How dare you say that you can help King Qingguang escape? It seems like King Chujiang is a very cautious person. He actually went to investigate Yi Zichen's identity right away. It was impossible to pretend to be someone from the underworld. If he said that he was someone from the heavenly court, he might be beaten to death by King Chujiang, and he might even implicate white impermanence. Yi Zichen thought about it for a while, then answered truthfully. I am just a mortal. Mortal? How can mortals recognize the people of the underworld? It's none of your business. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at his phone. The 10 Yama kings were always so arrogant, asking all sorts of questions. Even when he was chatting with the great sage, he hadn't been this restrained. You dare to speak to this king like this? What happened? Yi Zichen replied in annoyance. Wow, you're really amazing. It seemed like he was the one asking her to do something, but he made it seem like she owed him something. I'm telling you, King Chujiang, don't use the underworld's tricks on me. It won't work, understand? Humph, a mere mortal actually dares to be so arrogant. Aren't you afraid that I'll mark you down in the book of life and death, and let you die a miserable death? King Chujiang sent a question mark. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and sent a message. Don't scare me here, I'll tell you clearly, I can help King Qingguang escape. Do you need any help? Why should I believe you? I don't care if you believe me or not. He was really giving him some face. This was giving him the ability to save King Qingguang, and he still had to gain his trust. Ding dong. As the chat group fell into silence, white impermanence suddenly sent him a private message. King Chujiang's temper is the worst among the 10 Yama kings, and he is also the most suspicious. He won't like it if you talk to him like that. This kind of person is spoiled. After being the boss for so long, he really thinks that no one can control him. You don't have to worry. He won't dare to do anything to me. He'll have to ask me for help. As soon as the message was sent, King Chujiang appeared in the group. How are you going to help King Qingguang escape? That's none of your business. Yi Zichen sent the message mercilessly, then quickly followed it up with another. I'll save King Qingguang. As for you, we need to talk about the bargaining chips. Don't be unwilling. If the heavenly court really does detain King Qingguang, then you guys will definitely rebel. Brat, don't say random things. The underworld has always been led by the heavenly court. It was clear that words like rebelling could not be spoken carelessly, especially since King Chujiang was still suspicious of Yi Zichen's identity as someone from the heavenly court. Since King Qingguang was taken away by the people from the heavenly court, the underworld was in a mess. Perhaps Yi Zichen was a spy sent by the heavenly court to get information from the 10 Yama kings. Then he could directly detain all of them as evidence. Fine, I don't care who the underworld is led by. I'm just saying that if you want to save King Qingguang, then you will definitely have to pay a huge price. However, if you let me do it, then the price will be much smaller. Tell me what you need. I want to know how to revive a ghost that died before its time. Sure. King Chujiang agreed without even thinking about it. The underworld wouldn't lose anything by revealing this information to the outside world. What's more, even if Yi Zichen was truly someone from the heavenly court, it was useless for him to know. The people from the heavenly court were all deities, so they didn't need this information. If this brat was truly a mortal like he said, then it was useless for him to know this information, since he wouldn't be able to gather the materials for revival. You agreed so quickly? Yi Zichen didn't think that King Chujiang would agree so readily. No problem, but I need to see King Qin Guang safely return to the underworld before I can tell you. That's no problem, but words alone are no proof. You need to give me a written promise. Ding dong. You received King Chujiang's underworld oath. This king promises to tell you the method of revival after you save King Qin Guang safely. At the same time, I will also give you 10,000 heaven and earth merits as a reward. Alright, wait for my news. After exiting the chat group, White Impermanence sent Yi Zichen another message. Can you really save King Qin Guang? You don't trust me. Of course I trust you, I'm just a bit worried. Don't worry, it's definitely no problem. If the Heavenly Court truly wanted to attack the underworld, then they definitely wouldn't let King Qin Guang return. It was very likely that they would lock him up in a secret prison somewhere in the Heavenly Court. What does Erling Shin do? He's the head of the Heavenly Court's Security Bureau. He definitely has the right to know such a huge matter. What's my relationship with Erling Shin? Sworn brothers. Saving King Qin Guang isn't something that can be done in minute. Yi Zichen immediately sent a message to Erling Shin without thinking. Bro, are you busy? Yes. Erling Shin replied almost instantly. Are you busy with King Qin Guang's matter? King Qin Guang. Erling Shin was clearly stunned. Isn't King Qin Guang someone from the underworld? I'm trying to promote your goods to you. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped his thigh. He silently cursed himself for being too impatient. Tai-Bai Jinxing just took King Qin Guang away. How could he reach the Heavenly Court so quickly? Then I'll tell you some news in advance. King Qin Guang should be brought to the Heavenly Court by Tai-Bai Jinxing later. It seems like he committed a crime. However, I owe this brat a bit, so I hope you can help him out a bit. Tell me directly if there's any news. Bro, why do you still have contact with the people from the underworld? The relationship between the Heavenly Court and the underworld has been very tense in recent years. If some people with ill intentions find out, then you'll suffer greatly. Yi Zichen felt a warmth in his heart when he heard Erling Shin's message. Although he had never met Erling Shin before, their friendship was ridiculously deep. No worries, my identity is rather special. King Qin Guang is very important to me. Bro, I'll be depending on you then. No problem. Erling Shin definitely wouldn't frown when he was willing to do anything for his bro. After a simple thanks, Yi Zichen exited WeChat. He reached out to touch the dragon eye in his pocket. Chapter 125. Lucy? Lu Qianqian. The next evening, Yang Yusher's solo concert would begin in 3 hours. The guys in Yi Zichen's dorm were all fanatical fans of this goddess. Recalling the scene when he took out the concert tickets, being kissed on the face by 4 or 5 grown men was really unbearable. Are you done on your side? Yi Zichen stood at the door and spoke to Su Yan. He couldn't help but sigh as he looked at the people in the dorm who were fixing their hair and clothes. It seems like it will take a while. Alright then, we'll wait for you in your dormitory. Make him hurry. Of course it has nothing to do with Kiki, but it's not good to make others wait. Okay, I'll try to make them hurry. Yi Zichen hung up the phone, then directly walked behind Zhu Yunbai, who was the most shameless. It was a kick. Stop messing around. Su Yan's roommates are waiting for us downstairs. Hurry up. The people from the goddess's dormitory are waiting for us. It wasn't just Zhu Yunbai. Zhang Rui, Bai Yu, and Kong Peng's eyes also shone with a green light. Yi Zi, take a look at my outfit. When he saw this, Yi Zichen couldn't help but facepalm and sigh. It seemed he might as well not have said anything. In order to show off their most handsome side in front of the girls, Kong Peng and the others dragged on for another 10 minutes before slowly walking down. The moment Yi Zichen went downstairs, he saw Su Yan, Xia Kiki and Sun Yaij chatting happily together. Gulp. Someone beside him swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and like a chain reaction, the others began to swallow their saliva as well. The 3 campus belles, Zhang Rui licked his lips, his eyes glowing green. The others were the same, but Yi Zichen was a bit confused. Sun Yaij and the others were in the same dormitory? Tyrant bro. Xia Kiki directly ran over and hugged Yi Zichen's arm. All of a sudden, Yi Zichen felt intense jealousy appear in the eyes of the surrounding people. Zichen. Su Yan also greeted him with a sweet smile. Yi Zichen pursed his lips with a smile, then shook his head and sighed as he looked at Sun Yaij. Class rep, I didn't expect you to be roommates with Su Yan and the others. Yes. Sun Yaij still maintained her bashful personality, lowering her head and not saying a word. He glanced around and saw that only Su Yan's group of 3 were present. Yi Zichen rubbed his head as he recalled what Su Yan had said to him. Did Sun Yaij get the tickets for the concert? No. Su Yan smirked and said, It's our dorm's big sister. She went to buy some water and will be back soon. Let's wait for a bit. She's also a great beauty, Xia Kiki chuckled. Rumor has it that the 4 campus belles live together. Is that true? Zhang Rui, the gossip lover, popped out from the side and asked suspiciously. Xia Kiki nodded in reply. Yes. When he heard this, even Yi Zichen was momentarily stunned, but more than anything, he was filled with anticipation. He had seen the 3 campus belles, but he wanted to see the 4th one. She's one of the 4 school beauties alongside Su Yan, Xia Kiki and Sun Yaij, so she shouldn't be bad, right? You little thief, stop. At that moment, Yi Zichen, who was waiting for Su Yan's roommate, suddenly ran out. At the same time, a girl holding a cold drink also ran away when she saw him. Lucy, stop right there. Why did I bump into him here? Lucy turned around to look at the distance between them as she ran. Although the 2 of them were quite far away at the start, how could a girl like her outrun a grown man? Thus, she decided to stop, and pretended like she didn't know anything and started to walk back. Stop. Yi Zichen raised his hand and grabbed her arm with a playful expression. You're not running anymore? Who are you? I don't know you. Lucy intentionally spoke in English when she said that, as if she wanted to pretend to be a foreigner and get away with it. Yi Zichen frowned towards her with a smile. Pretend, continue pretending. Lucy continued to use fluent foreign language to act like she was very excited and confused as she tried to break free from Yi Zichen's arm. At that moment, Su Yan and company also came over. Lucy's eyes lit up when she saw this. Hurry up and save me, someone is going to molest me. Oh wow, they want to make a big deal out of it, right? Hee hee, I'm so sorry, these people all came to find me. With that, Yi Zichen turned around and raised his eyebrows towards Su Yan and company. Hurry up and call the police, I caught a thief. Everyone was shocked. Did you make a mistake? After a long while, Su Yan finally asked in a testing manner. She's the big sis of our dorm, Lu Qianshan. What thief? Ah? Big sis, Lu Qianshan? Yi Zichen was a bit confused. Isn't this girl Lucy? At that moment, Lu Qianshan also ran to Su Yan's side and said with a troubled expression, Su Yan, hurry up and call the police. Su Yan, hurry up and call the police. This pervert just tried to molest me. Qianshanjia, he's the Yi Zichen I mentioned to you before. Shocked. Both of them were shocked. Lu Qianshan and Yi Zichen stared at each other for an entire minute. It's a bit messy, let's sort it out. Yi Zichen closed his eyes and placed his right index finger between his eyebrows. After a long while, he opened his eyes and pointed at Lu Qianshan. She's the big sis of your dorm, and one of the school beauties of Polytechnic University, Lu Qianshan, right? Everyone nodded. She gave you guys the concert tickets, right? Everyone nodded. Clap. Yi Zichen clapped his hands forcefully, causing everyone to jump in fright. Isn't that it? Lucy, why are you still pretending in front of me? Hurry up and tell the truth. Rish bro, why do you always call Qianshanja Lucy? This girl asked me to drink with her at the bar and told me that she's called Lucy. Also, do you guys know where her concert tickets came from? She stole them from me. At the time, I don't want your stinky face. Lu Qianqian put her hands on her waist and snorted. I've never seen you before, don't slander me. I'm a reputable person in Polytechnic University. What asking you to drink with her at the bar, what stealing your concert tickets? Do you have proof? If you don't, then be careful, I'll sue you for slander. Wow! Yi Zichen exclaimed softly. Being able to be as shameless as she was truly in a different realm. Her ability to make a counterattack was definitely full marks. At that moment, Su Yan also pulled the corner of Yi Zichen's clothes to signal him not to say any more. At the same time, Yi Zichen also smiled coyly. Sorry, I got the wrong person. Hearing that, Lu Qianqian instantly raised her chin up high. Watch your words in the future. Not everyone has such a good temper like me. Heh. Lu Qianqian snorted proudly, then turned around and left with Xia Kiki and Sun Yaij. Hearing that, Yi Zichen nearly spat out blood. Wow. Chapter 126. Zhu Xiliang. Yi Zichen was certain that the girl called Lu Qianqian was definitely the Lucy he knew. Along the way, his gaze had never left her, and it was the same for her. Yi Zi, you guys are really slow. I've been waiting here for half a day. As soon as they arrived, Su Yun greeted them with a smile. When Lu Qianqian saw him, she subconsciously wanted to hide. Why is Lucy here too, Lucy? Lu Qianqian was really in a bad mood. Why was her luck so bad recently? The two people who were at the bar that day were from the Polytechnic University, and they even knew her roommate. For a moment, Su Yan and the others looked at Lu Qianqian strangely. Yi Zichen seized the opportunity to stab her in the back. Don't spout nonsense. This girl isn't that Lucy we met at the bar. She's our school's beauty queen, Lu Qianqian. When Yi Zichen said that, he intentionally emphasized the words bar, freeloading, and Lucy. Lu Qianqian rolled her eyes and shrugged. Well, I am Lucy, will you? Really, why did I meet such a narrow-minded man like you? I'm petty. Yi Zichen stomped his feet in anger. If I'm not wrong, I seem to have helped this woman more than once. She actually said that he was petty. Alright, we're all friends. Sun Yaij, who had remained silent, suddenly spoke up. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes at Lu Qianqian and snorted. Since our class monitor has said so, I'll leave you some face. Tisk, petty. With that, she moved closer to Su Yan and muttered, Su Yan, this man is too petty. You can't be with him. Woman, you must be sick. Lu Qianqian made a face at him and stuck out her tongue. None of your business. The surrounding people hurriedly pulled Yi Zichen back. He had no choice but to grimace and tremble with rage. Yang Yushi is here. A black van was parked at the main entrance of the stadium. At the same time, a group of men and women holding flowers suddenly appeared and surrounded it. Bang! At this moment, dazzling fireworks were set off outside the stadium. A few big words also appeared on the LED display outside a high-end business office building opposite the stadium. Yang Yushi, marry me. Wow, so romantic. Xia Kiki exclaimed as she propped her face up with her hands. The girls beside her also looked on enviously. All girls liked romance, while Yi Zichen and the other guys twitched their mouth. Fancy. Playing to the gallery. Useless. What a waste of money. Yang Yushi seemed to be used to this scene. Under the protection of more than 10 bodyguards, she gradually walked out of the crowd. But at the end of the crowd, a handsome man in a well-ironed blue suit held a rose in his hand and waited for a long time. You came. Yang Yushi, who had stopped, looked forward with gratification in her eyes. The corners of her lips curled up. The man who had been guarding in front of her smiled warmly and walked towards her. I'm here. However, Yang Yushi, who had just stopped, brushed past him. The expression of the man that Yang Yushi ignored froze. When he turned around, he noticed that she had already walked in front of Yi Zichen. I thought you wouldn't come. Wow. Regardless of whether it was the people that came with Yi Zichen or the surrounding fans, they all exclaimed softly. Kong Peng couldn't help but step aside, while Su Yun also pulled Su Yen and company out. All of a sudden, only Yi Zichen and Yang Yushir were left in the circle of bodyguards. Speak, you're not mute. Yang Yushir's tone carried a hint of impatience. Yi Zichen licked his lips and raised his eyebrows. I'm not seeing things right? Is he Yi Zichen? It really does seem like it. Yi Zichen can be said to be a rather popular internet celebrity recently. He knows Yang Yushir. The video of Yi Zichen's school anniversary concert was truly too popular on Weibo. It was on the top search list for half a month. It was hard for him not to be famous. The surrounding fans gradually recognized him. Some of the more nosy ones even found out about the secret meeting between the two of them at a coffee shop. Nice to meet you, Zhu Xilyang. The man that wanted to woo Yang Yushir at the beginning suddenly appeared and reached out his hand towards Yi Zichen. The man's voice was extremely magnetic and infectious. His deep eyes caused the surrounding female fans of Yang Yushir to scream out in surprise. You don't need to know me, I'm just a small fry. Yi Zichen smiled softly. He nodded towards Zhu Xilyang, then looked at Yang Yushir. I wish your concert a success. With that, he turned around and walked in front of Su Yen and company. Let's go. Yang Yushir pursed her lips tightly and looked at the people that left together. At the same time, Zhu Xilyang also retracted his hand that was hanging in midair. He turned around and handed the rose in his hand in front of Yang Yushir. Zhu Xilyang, stop being so attentive. We really aren't suited for each other. Even if my dad is trying to set us up, I still won't accept you. No worries, I won't force you. You will accept me one day. Zhu Xilyang casually handed the rose to the hands of the bodyguard beside him with a humble smile, then took a step back to make way for Yang Yushir. When Yang Yushir left without looking back, Zhu Xilyang also waved his hand to the side. Young master, I want to know the relationship between that man and Yang Yushir. Understood. When the bodyguard beside him left, Zhu Xilyang twisted his neck and a faint smile appeared on his face. Yi Zi, what's your relationship with Yang Yushir? How do you know Yang Yushir? It seems like your relationship isn't simple. What exactly is Yang Yushir's relationship with you? Hurry up and say it. The surrounding people, especially Zhang Rui, all burned with the flames of gossip in their hearts. Yi Zichen was a bit annoyed by their questions, so he said angrily, Why do you guys have so many questions? Are you guys going to the concert or not? If not, then go back. The surrounding people all stopped when they sensed that Yi Zichen was truly angered. Yi Zichen subconsciously looked towards the back of the venue. If there was no surprise, that man should be the business marriage partner that Yang Yushir's father arranged for her. That's not bad, at least he looks okay. The concert ticket that Yang Yushir gave him was for the first row of seats, which could be said to be the seat closest to the stage. Yi Zichen looked at the stage in shock, while the scenes between the two of them uncontrollably replayed in his mind. How could he not feel sad? He loved her, but he let her go with a smile. Ding dong. Ding dong. Just as Yi Zichen was reminiscing about the past, the phone in his pocket suddenly rang. Yi Zichen quickly took out his phone and saw that Shen had sent him a message. Chapter 127. I'm the only one who can save her. Yi Zichen opened WeChat and looked at Shen's message. Shen, brother, you were right. Tai Bai Jinxing brought King Qingguang to Jade Emperor's side. A direct meeting with the highest leader seemed like the situation was going to be bad. Yi Zichen licked his lips and replied. What's the situation now? In the soaring Heaven King Palace, King Qingguang, who was wearing a crown on his head, stood proudly in the main hall of the Cloudy Palace of the Golden Arches. On both sides of the Cloudy Palace of the Golden Arches, various great deities, led by Shen and pagoda-bearing Heavenly Kingly, lowered their eyes in silence. Jade Emperor, King Qingguang of the underworld, ignored the rules of the heavenly court and held a birthday banquet. The Jade Emperor, who was sitting on the high seat, glared at him. The expression of the Queen Mother changed as well. King Qingguang, what Tai Bai said is the truth. No. King Qingguang raised his head and replied firmly. Tai Bai, the Jade Emperor looked at Tai Bai jinxing again. King Qingguang, when I arrived, you ended the birthday banquet in a hurry, and I caught you in the act, yet you still want to quibble. Slander. King Qingguang, to be honest, I won't blame you. Recently, I also intend to write a new regulation. You can tell me the truth. The Jade Emperor smiled meaningfully. King Qingguang raised his head and cupped his fist. Jade Emperor, I did not hold a birthday banquet. King Qingguang, this emperor understands. You've worked hard in the underworld, so it's only reasonable for you to hold a birthday banquet and have some fun. Jade Emperor, I did not hold a birthday banquet. All right. The Jade Emperor nodded and stared at King Qingguang with a dark gaze. Put him in the heavenly prison. Jade Emperor, I'm not guilty. The surrounding heavenly soldiers immediately went forward to escort him. King Qingguang raised his head and stared at the Jade Emperor while shouting. At this moment, the Jade Emperor sat back down and smiled. King Qingguang, you lied to me, and you still say you're innocent? If you did, then you did. If you didn't, then you didn't. This emperor said that I won't blame you. Don't tell me you still don't believe this emperor. This prince did not hold a birthday banquet. Erlang Shen. The Jade Emperor raised his hand and called out. Erlang Shen, who was thinking about how to reply to Yi Zichen, quickly walked over. Your subject is here. Take King Qingguang away. Understood. Erlang Shen escorted King Qingguang down from Lingshao Palace. Queen Mother of the West said softly. How are you going to deal with King Qingguang? What else can I do? The Jade Emperor sighed softly and said, In the numinous Heaven King Palace, I tested him but he didn't admit it. If he doesn't admit it, then he's innocent. Do you think I can accuse him of a crime? Shaking his head, the Jade Emperor stood up from his throne and looked at Tai Bai jinxing. Tai Bai, next time, you must seize the evidence. Don't be so reckless. After leaving the Cloudy Palace Hall, Erlang Shen let go of King Qingguang. Wait here. Don't run, okay? You can't outrun me. Erlang Shen snorted towards King Qingguang, then took out his phone to reply to Yi Zichen. King Qingguang is in my hands. The Jade Emperor did not have anything on him. It seems like this matter is going to be left unsettled. Ding dong. Yi Zichen, who was holding his phone and watching the concert absent-mindedly, immediately replied when he saw the message. Then can you directly let him go? Directly let him go? Erlang Shen was stunned. Although he knew that King Qingguang wouldn't be in any danger, if he directly let him go, all right, I'll let him go. Who cares so much? I owe King Qingguang to my bro, so I must let him go. Then thank you, but don't reveal my identity to him. The underworld didn't have a good impression of the heavenly court. If King Qingguang found out that he was Sky Sovereign Nameless, then it might cause unnecessary trouble. The moment he sent the message, Erlang Shen nodded, then walked in front of King Qingguang and pointed under the South Heaven's Gate. Go back to the underworld. King Qingguang was stunned. Why did he let him go just like that? Don't think too much, a benefactor is going to help you. With that, Erlang Shen pointed under the South Heaven's Gate. King Qingguang nodded heavily, then cupped his hands towards Erlang Shen before diving down. I let him go. Yi Zichen revealed a satisfied smile when he saw the message on his phone. Thanks. You're too courteous. Let's drink together when we return to the heavenly court. Sure. Yi Zichen closed WeChat. King Qingguang had just been released from the heavenly court, so he needed some time to get to the underworld. At that moment, Yang Yushir stood beside a host on the stage. Area C, Row 4, Seat 16. Why is it Area C? Why didn't she choose the first row? The moment the host said that, Xia Kiki and company beside Yi Zichen twitched their mouths in disappointment. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. What did you announce the number for just now? Sharing the stage with Yang Yushir. Are you even watching the concert seriously? Yi Zichen quickly shut his mouth when he saw the unfriendly expressions of the surrounding people. If he continued to speak, then these people might just beat him up a bit. Then, it wouldn't be worth it. Not long later, a bespectacled boy with long hair, who looked a bit like a otaku, appeared at the center of the stage under the accompaniment of the security guards. The boy's face was filled with nervousness and excitement when he got on stage. However, at that moment, Yi Zichen, who was sitting on the stage, suddenly stood up and shouted, "Yang Yushi, run!" Yi Zichen's sudden standing up shocked all of his friends and fans. Yang Yushi, who was on the stage, also blinked in shock. F***ck. Yi Zichen, who was in the audience, quickly jumped towards the stage. All of a sudden, the face of the boy, who was standing beside Yang Yushi with excitement and nervousness, turned extremely dark. "Go die!" Suddenly, a dagger appeared on his sleeve. Yang Yushi. Yi Zichen's eyes twitched. He watched as the boy stabbed the dagger into her heart. A white knife entered and a red knife came out. Bang! Zhu Xiaoyang, who was standing below the stage, roared at the people beside him. "Call an ambulance! F***ck your mom!" Yi Zichen's eyes instantly turned red. He kicked the boy, but the moment he fell down, 7 or 8 bodyguards immediately appeared and subdued him. Yang Yushi, who was lying on the ground, was still bleeding from her heart. Yi Zichen squatted down and looked at her pale face, then took out his phone from his pocket. "What are you doing? Put down the injured person." Zhu Xiaoyang appeared behind Yi Zichen, while the emergency personnel who had to attend the concert stood beside him. "Put her down?" Yi Zichen looked up. His pitch-black eyes were filled with terrifying blood vessels as he swept his gaze over everyone coldly. "Leave her to you guys? Do you think she can make it to the hospital for emergency treatment?" With that, a box of silver needles suddenly appeared in his hands. Chapter 128. 9 Suns Extend Life. No one saw how the box of silver needles appeared. Yi Zichen opened the box, took out one and started to insert it. "Which hospital are you from? Do you have a medical certificate?" The male medic suddenly grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder. The tremble from Yi Zichen's shoulder nearly caused the needle to go to the wrong place. Yi Zichen's heart tensed. Yi Zichen couldn't allow for any mistakes when he was about to insert the needle. If the needle went to the wrong place, then the consequences would be unimaginable. F***ck off. Yi Zichen's heart nearly exploded when he nearly killed Yang Yushi. He turned around, raised his hand, and pointed at the male medic. His eyes were bloodshot as he yelled at him. "Don't touch me, otherwise I'll make you die a horrible death." The male medic's expression instantly froze. After a long while, he came back to his senses and grabbed Yi Zichen's shoulder once again. Crack! Yi Zichen exerted force with his right hand and directly dislocated the medic's arm, then pierced the silver needle in his hand towards the center of the medic's eyebrows without any hesitation. Slap! Yi Zichen's right hand was suddenly grabbed by someone. When he looked up, he saw that the person who reached out was Zhu Xiaoyang. "You want to stop me as well?" Zhu Xiaoyang shook his head with a solemn expression. "You're a Chinese doctor? What do you think?" Yi Zichen flashed the silver needle in his hand. "How confident are you?" 30%, but if I can't, then there's no hope. 30%. The success rate could be said to be very low, but he understood Yang Yushi's situation very well. It would be too late to rush to the hospital. "Alright, do the acupuncture. What help do you need from me?" Hee. Yi Zichen suddenly pursed his lips and laughed coldly. He looked at the panicking fans and media, as well as the controlled assassin. "Do what you have to do." With that, he ignored Zhu Xiaoyang. With that brat's brain, he should know what he could do. Yi Zichen calmed himself down and discarded his thoughts. Acupuncture. 9 Suns Extend Life. Yi Zichen shouted, then inserted the last needle in his hand. The bleeding on Yang Yushi's chest had already stopped, while a hint of blood gradually appeared on her pale face. On the other hand, Yi Zichen looked like he was about to collapse, but his face was filled with a happy smile. Success. The 9-yang life extending needle was the strangest acupuncture technique in the Taishang Laojuan's eccentric medical book. The entire set of acupuncture techniques had a total of 49 needles, but the time it took to execute each needle was only slightly more than 10 seconds. In the process of inserting needles, one must not insert any wrong acupuncture points, which required the practitioner to be extremely focused. Of course, the silver needles also played a part in his success. He spent 2,000 cultivation experience to exchange for it from the treasure shop. It could increase the success rate of acupuncture by 10%. It was a one-time use item. When Yi Zichen saw that Yang Yusher's condition had stabilized, he wiped the sweat off his forehead and called out weakly, "Zhu Xiliang, what's wrong? Is there anything else you need me to do?" Zhu Xiliang had thought that she needed his help, mainly because the time was too short. It was less than 5 minutes in total. However, when he saw Yi Zichen, his pupils constricted. "You, take Yang Yusher to the hospital." Yi Zichen panted heavily, then stood up with difficulty. "No one can touch this needle, no one. Also, this concert. Never mind, I don't want to say too much, you should know better than me. I will give you an explanation." Zhu Xiliang's expression was terrifyingly dark. This concert was actually organized by him, yet something like this actually happened under his watch. "I don't need you to give me an explanation. You need to give Yang Yusher and her father an explanation. Remember, no one can touch the silver needles on Yang Yusher's body." Yi Zichen waved towards Zhu Xiliang, then left with the help of Su Yen and company. "Zichen, are you all right?" On the way back, Su Yen and Xia Kiki sat on either side of Yi Zichen and asked about his well-being. Yi Zichen was able to lean on the beauty's shoulder with a tilt of his head. If outsiders knew about this, wouldn't they be jealous to death? "Nothing, I just felt a bit tired." "Did you use acupuncture just now? Why are you like this after the acupuncture?" Su Yen had a look of worry as she continuously wiped the sweat from Yi Zichen's forehead and cheeks with a napkin. "How should I answer that?" Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. "It just takes a lot of energy. I was too tired, so I felt tired." Su Yen nodded slightly. Xia Kiki, who was on the side, also twitched her mouth and muttered, "Why did it become like that? Yang Yusher is so nice, why did someone treat her like that at the concert? It's fortunate that there's Riche Bro, otherwise, I would have one less celebrity to like." Hearing that, Yi Zichen's expression darkened and snorted coldly. "Blame Yang Yusher's father for being too arrogant." What? Nothing. Yi Zichen knew that he said the wrong thing, so he quickly shook his head and corrected himself. However, his heart was filled with coldness. If it wasn't for Yang Yusher's arrogant father, how could she have ended up in such a dangerous situation? He always acted like he was above everyone else, and didn't show any respect to anyone. How could someone like that not have a lot of enemies? He did protect himself quite well, but Yang Yusher ding-dong. Yi Zichen's phone rang in his pocket. He took it out and looked at it. White impermanence. He quickly put his phone back into his pocket. Su Yen and Xia Kiki were so close, if he chatted here, he would definitely be exposed. Yi Zichen only jumped onto the bed and took out his phone when he returned to the dorm. White impermanence. I'm going to work again. This white impermanence seemed to have a really good relationship with him. She even told him when she was going to work. Thank you, thank you. Where am I going this time?" "Bingqing's First People's Hospital," White impermanence replied. Hospitals were indeed places that soul reapers of the underworld like them frequented. Just as he was about to reply, an unknown number suddenly rang up on his phone. "Hello? Is it Yi Zichen?" The voice of the person on the other side of the phone was very solemn, but that did not affect Yi Zichen being able to tell who it was. "Zhu Xiliang? What are you looking for me for? It really is you. Hurry up and come to the First People's Hospital, Yang Yusher, what happened to Yang Yusher?" Yi Zichen, who was lying on the bed, suddenly sat up. Everyone else in the dorm also stopped talking and looked over with a solemn expression. Someone pulled out your silver needles. F***ck. Yi Zichen cursed angrily. Didn't I tell you that no one is allowed to touch those silver needles? You can't protect Yang Yushir at the concert, and you can't even protect the silver needles in the hospital. Just what can you do? Sorry my ass. I'll be there right away. Wait for me there properly. Yi Zichen was truly about to go crazy because of Zhu Xiliang. Then tell him not to let anyone else touch the silver needles. He even told someone to pull out the silver needles. All of a sudden, he recalled that White Impermanence told him that she was going to the First People's Hospital. White Impermanence, whose soul are you trying to reap? Why are you asking this? This is very important to me. Hurry up and say it. If there were no surprises, then the soul she was trying to reap should be. Chapter 129. Increase lifespan, can you? Within the emergency room of the First People's Hospital, when the pacemaker lost its final effect, and when the wave on the machine turned into a horizontal line, everyone in the emergency room turned silent. I want to know who pulled out the silver needles from this girl's body. Elder Zhen's expression was very dark as he swept his gaze over everyone in the emergency room. Nobody said anything, right? The atmosphere was extremely tense. After a long time, Wu Duan walked out shakily at the back of the crowd. Elder Zhen, it's me. All right, Elder Zhen nodded towards him. Jingqing nodded slightly at him and said, This girl's life is hanging by a thread because of the silver needles. You've done well, Elder Zhen. No need to say any more to me, go and talk to the family. With that, the lights in the operation room dimmed. Elder Zhen was the first to walk out of the operation room. Zhu Xiliang. Yi Zichen rushed out of the emergency room with red eyes. When Zhu Xiliang saw him, he instantly lowered his sullen face. Sorry, Bang. Yi Zichen punched Zhu Xiliang's face. The force of the punch caused the corner of Zhu Xiliang's mouth to bleed. Sorry, that's all you know. Just what can you do? Crack. The door to the operation room was pushed open, and Elder Zhen walked out. The face of this leading figure was filled with sadness due to the failure of the operation. He was already prepared to endure the curses of the family, but when he looked up, he saw a savior. Lil Yi. Yi Zichen looked up and saw Elder Zhen's surprised face. This geezer's luck was truly terrible. If this were to continue, it seemed like he would not be able to keep his title as a leading figure. The operation failed, right? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and walked in front of Elder Zhen. With your medical abilities, you shouldn't have made such a low-level mistake. Tell me, who pulled out my silver needles? The person who did it was you. Elder Zhen's eyelids twitched. He had seen the acupuncture technique when Yang Yushir was sent over. 9 Yang Life Extending Needle. This was a technique that he had only seen in medical book. At that time, he was wondering which master did it. He didn't expect it to be this little friend. What do you think? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes. Just who pulled it out? At that moment, Wu Dio also walked out of the operation room shakily. Deng Qing glanced towards him, causing Yi Zichen to instantly understand. Director Wu. Why are you here? Wu Dio and Yi Zichen had a bit of a grudge between them, but when the two of them met here, his eyelids twitched. You are the patient's family member. I'm the one who does the acupuncture. Yi Zichen's eyes reddened, then punched him in the nose. Blood flowed down Wu Dio's nose. Yi Zichen glared at him and cursed. You don't have any skills. You only know how to sleep with a doctor in the hospital. I'm telling you, Wu Dio, this isn't over between us. With that, Yi Zichen turned around and walked towards the operation room. The surrounding medical staff did not stop him under Elder Zhen's signal. Just as Yi Zichen was about to enter the operation room, Yi Zichen turned around and shouted towards Zhu Xiliang. Do what you should do. Understood. Zhu Xiliang nodded and walked toward Wu Dio. Plop. Wu Dio knelt onto the ground as his legs went soft. He knew that his future was over. When he entered the operation room, he saw that it was different from the last time. He did not see Yang Yusher's ghost. You finally came. I've been waiting for you for a long time. White impermanence suddenly popped out from the wall. She should have hooked Yang Yusher's ghost away the moment she left, but Yi Zichen told her to wait for him. She also wanted to see him, so she didn't do anything. Yang Yusher's soul, it's still in her body. I haven't started hooking it yet, White Impermanence said softly. Of course, Yi Zichen did not know whether she was smiling or not since she was wearing a big white hat. Her lifespan is up? White Impermanence nodded. I looked at the Book of Life and Death before coming. Her lifespan is indeed up. Lifespan is up. This meant that she was destined to face this tribulation. F***ck Yi Zichen cursed silently in his heart. If it wasn't because that useless Zhu Xiliang failed to guard the silver needles, and Wu Dio didn't touch her, she wouldn't have ended up like this. She could get peaches of immortality from the great sage to extend her life, but she had to get a 9 reincarnation soul pill from old Lord Taishang for a dead soul. The great sage was fine, but old Lord Taishang, the relationship between the two of them was extremely tense. Ding dong. King Chujiang. King Qingguang returned safely. Thank you. Beautiful. Yi Zichen looked up at White Impermanence. King Qingguang returned to the underworld. Stop hooking the soul and stay here with me for a while. This person's lifespan will be up soon. King Qingguang returned? White Impermanence was stunned. You really saved him. However, Yi Zichen no longer chatted with her, and instead focused on chatting with King Chujiang. I want to talk to King Qingguang. Sure. After King Chujiang replied to the message, another message popped up in the chat box. I'm King Qingguang. I'm the person who helped you return to the underworld. Within the first Yama Hall of the underworld, King Qingguang looked up at King Chujiang as he looked at the message on his phone. Big bro, this person did contact me before. He said that he can save you. King Qingguang's expression tensed up when he recalled what Erling Shin had said to him at the Heavenly Court's South Heaven's Gate. You and Erling Shin. I told Erling Shin to let you go. Yi Zichen replied coldly and deliberately. Then thank you very much. King Qingguang's words were sincere. Although he didn't let the Heavenly Court get anything on him, if the Heavenly Court really wanted to keep him there for several hundred years, there was nothing he could do. What's more, the relationship between the Heavenly Court and the underworld was very tense. If he became the fuse and the Heavenly Court and the underworld started to fight recently, Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva was in closed-door cultivation, while the great sacred emperor equaling heaven and the ghost emperors of the 5 directions were also in closed-door cultivation. He was the one in charge of the underworld. If something really happened to him, then he would be the scapegoat. No need to thank me too much. Yi Zichen intentionally acted a bit more cold and mysterious. King Qingguang, who was on the other side of the phone, also felt a bit of respect when he saw this reply. Understood, then you are. I need you to help me with something right now. Please speak. Both King Qingguang and King Chujiang weren't sure what the other party's identity was, especially since the other party's relationship in the Heavenly Court was so strong. They really dared to be negligent. Who in the underworld is in charge of the human realm's Book of Life and Death? That's me. All right. Yi Zichen made up his mind. I need you to increase the lifespan of the mortals in the human realm. Is that possible? Increase lifespan? King Qingguang was shocked. This was something that had never happened in the underworld in 10,000 years. Chapter 130. 50 years of lifespan, was it possible? King Qingguang looked at the message and fell into deep thought. The underworld had been in charge of life and death for tens of thousands of years. A person's lifespan should be fixed, and there had never been such a thing as increasing one's lifespan. But if he refused, he couldn't be sure of the other party's identity. If they could let him go, they might be able to catch him again. After weighing the pros and cons, King Qinguang replied, Master, the lifespan of the human world is determined by heaven and earth. It's not convenient for us to recklessly add more. That's against the rules. If you can't add them wantonly, then you can add them. I'm asking you if you can. Even White Impermanence was shocked by Yi Zichen's tough attitude. She had never seen anyone who dared to speak to King Qinguang like that after being in the underworld for so long. King Chujiang, just who is this person? Didn't you say that he contacted you? King Qinguang did not dare to refute Yi Zichen, so he could only look towards King Chujiang. I'm not too sure either. At that time, White Impermanence told me that someone could help you escape. I contacted him, and he said he was immortal. He even discussed the terms of the deal with me. Mortal? King Qinguang frowned. What's the condition? He wanted me to tell him the method to revive those who died before their time. King Chujiang answered truthfully. You want to extend the lifespan of mortals and resurrect them. King Qinguang pondered for a while. Ding dong. In the operating room, Bai Wucheng's phone rang. She took it out and her expression changed. King Qinguang is looking for me. Give it to me. Yi Zichen took White Impermanence's phone back and looked at the message. King Qinguang, what is the identity of that expert? King Qinguang, don't try to get information out of me. I have White Impermanence's phone. Can you give me an answer? Yi Zichen handed his phone to White Impermanence after sending the message. It's not good for you to use my phone to talk to King Qinguang like that. What's wrong with it? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. He's trying to get information out of you. Even if I didn't say that, would you have? Of course not, White Impermanence said in a low voice. Then that's it, Yi Zichen shrugged. Inside the first hell hall, King Qinguang was stunned when he saw White Impermanence's reply. He actually used White Impermanence's phone. How can a mortal like him touch something from the underworld? Brother, if you really can't do it, then just add it. King Chujiang consoled from the side. How can we do that? If we let the heavenly court do that, there will be trouble in the future. King Qinguang hesitated. What's there to be afraid of? Tell that expert about the hidden dangers. He's so powerful in the heavenly court, so there shouldn't be any problems. King Qinguang was stunned when he heard King Chujiang's words. What he said wasn't unreasonable. Expert, it's not impossible to increase the lifespan of mortals. I've said everything. King Qinguang paused for a moment when he saw Yi Zichen's firm reply. Damn it, he had been the Yama king for tens of thousands of years. Even the Jade Emperor couldn't speak to him like this. Brother, don't be angry. Seeing that King Qinguang's expression wasn't good, King Chujiang quickly consoled him. The underworld is under the jurisdiction of the heavenly court. If we recklessly increase the lifespan of mortals, the heavenly court will inevitably do something if they find out. Recently, the relationship between the underworld and the heavenly court has been very tense. I'll take responsibility if anything happens, Yi Zichen replied without thinking. Just do it. If the heavenly court really dares to cause trouble for you, then tell me. I'll take care of everything for you. Both Yama kings were shocked when they saw this reply. So domineering. Look at this person's tone. He doesn't even care about the heavenly court. Just what sort of identity does he have to be able to do something like that? Since he received this expert's promise, King Qinguang clenched his teeth. All right, who do you want to increase lifespan for? Yang Yushi of the Huaxia capital. Her father is Yang Zhen. I want to increase Yang Yushi's lifespan by 50 years. No problem, wait a moment. King Qinguang immediately went to find the Book of Life and Death. Yi Zichen let out a sigh, then looked up at Yang Yushi, who laid on the bed without moving, and sighed in his heart. You're so amazing, you actually made King Qinguang give in, White Impermanence exclaimed on the side. The ghost girl, Lu Jing, also floated out and looked at Yang Yushi, who was on the bed. You're going to succeed in picking up girls again. Girl, why do you always keep talking about me picking up girls? Yi Zichen looked up with a playful smile. You can't have fallen in love with me, right? Tisk, shameless. Lu Jing pouted and snorted. I'm just telling the truth. Women all know that a hero saving a beauty is very cliché, but they can't help but fall in love with that hero. You saved Yang Yushi. You two have a bit of a story. Do you think she can forget you after this? I won't let her know. Yi Zichen's expression suddenly darkened. I won't interfere with her life. Yang Zhen has already arranged it for her. I won't go and destroy the path that he thinks will make his daughter lucky. Anyone could hear the loneliness in Yi Zichen's words. Lu Jing stuck out her tongue, then obediently floated to the side. White Impermanence was stunned for a moment, but did not say anything. All of a sudden, there was nothing else in the emergency room apart from coldness and pressure. Ding dong. After a long silence, Yi Zichen took out his phone. King Chujiang. Master, Yang Yushi's lifespan has already been added. Yi Zichen raised his hand and brushed it across Yang Yushi's forehead, then smiled and shrugged towards Lu Jing and White Impermanence. Let's go. You really aren't going to stay here? If the first thing she sees is you. Yi Zichen interrupted Lu Jing before she finished. I said it before, I won't go and destroy her luck. Yi Zichen walked out of the operation room without hesitation. Zhu Xiliang immediately walked up to him. How is it? Yi Zichen immediately squinted his eyes when he saw this man. He grabbed Zhu Xiliang's collar tightly and lifted him up. Take good care of the woman inside. If she dares to get into any sort of danger, then I won't let you have it easy no matter what your identity is. Bang! Yi Zichen threw Zhu Xiliang onto the ground, while the surrounding bodyguards already surrounded Yi Zichen. What, are you trying to protect your master? All of you back down. Zhu Xiliang, who was on the ground, crawled up and roared. After the surrounding bodyguards backed down, he walked in front of Yi Zichen with an apologetic smile. Thank you. Yi Zichen glanced at Zhu Xiliang coldly, then looked around. Where's Wudio? I already took care of it, Zhu Xiliang said softly. Hearing this, Yi Zichen's expression softened a bit. At least you have some brains. How are you speaking to Director Zhu like that? Ancestor? Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows and smiled. That's your ancestor, not mine. Go to the side. Yi Zichen pushed away the angry bodyguards and turned around to leave. However, at that very moment, the tightly shut door of the operation room. Chapter 131. The original intention of forgetting Yushi. The moment the door to the operation room was pushed open, Zhu Xiliang immediately went up. The bodyguards behind him and the surrounding medical staff also went up. A patient that was about to be declared dead by the hospital was actually able to walk out of the operation room unscathed after that young man entered. Wasn't that a legend in the medical world? Let's go. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled when he saw Yang Yushi, who was surrounded by everyone. Lu Jing and White Impermanence both nodded, then followed him out of the hallway of the emergency room. Yi Zichen. Yang Yushi, who was surrounded by people, was shocked. When she ran out of the crowd, Yi Zichen had already disappeared. Yi Zichen saved me, right? Yang Yushi tilted her head and looked at Zhu Xiliang, who was on the side. Yes, he saved you twice. Twice. To be honest, I've never thought highly of anyone. I feel like no one can compare to me in my age group, but he. Zhu Xiliang suddenly smiled coyly. I'm not as good as him. You're not as good as him to begin with. Yang Yushi attacked him mercilessly, and Zhu Xiliang just smiled noncommittally. He was unable to retort. Zhu Xiliang, you really should reflect on how you put me in such danger during the concert. Yang Yushi shook her head towards Zhu Xiliang, then prepared to leave with her team. At this moment, Zhu Xiliang suddenly stopped her and said with a mellow smile. I won't ask for your forgiveness, but Uncle Yang is hurrying over here from the capital. What's more, your body still needs to be observed in the hospital. Yang Yushi's team also agreed. She thought for a moment, then nodded. I understand. But Zhu Xiliang, I don't want to see you. After leaving the First People's Hospital, Yi Zichen let out a soft sigh and sat on a bench by the side of the road. Lu Qing floated next to him, and looked at him for a long time as she took a drag of her cigarette. Why are you so depressed? Depressed? Did I? Yi Zichen laughed. Lu Jing instantly twitched her mouth. You're still saying you didn't? Your face is about to be pulled to Mars. Yi Zichen rubbed his face with a dry laugh, then looked up at White Impermanence, who continued to follow them. Isn't it time for you to go back? Oh right, I haven't seen Black Impermanence with you lately? Ever since you taught him a lesson, he's been with another group of people. He's not with me anymore. White Impermanence replied softly. Yi Zichen immediately smiled coyly. It seems like I've affected your relationship as a couple. It is better to tear down 10 temples than to tear down one marriage. The Black and White Impermanence should have been together in the underworld for a long time. With that incident, the two of them immediately fell out. This was truly a sin. No, it's better this way, no one will interfere with the other. White Impermanence shook her head. At that moment, her phone rang. She looked at the message on it and said, What's wrong? I have to go back. Okay, see you later. Yi Zichen waved towards White Impermanence, then watched as she gradually disappeared into the lonely night. Lu Jing circled above his head twice and said, White Impermanence is interested in you. Wow, little girl, don't be so sensitive. Yi Zichen sighed helplessly. You always make me misunderstand that you're interested in me. Tisk. Lu Jing snorted, then scolded with a frown. I can't be bothered with you. With that, she returned to the Dragon Eye to warm up her soul. Slap. Yi Zichen slapped his thigh. He was too focused on increasing his lifespan that he forgot to ask about revival. Just when he was about to take out his phone, Yi Zichen felt a hand on his shoulder. Who? Yi Zichen shuddered. When he turned around, he saw Deng Qing, who was wearing a white coat, sitting beside him with a smile. Gramps, it's very scary at night. Gramps. Deng Qing was stunned. He had never heard anyone call him that before. However, when he thought about his age, and how his beard was about to turn white, calling him Gramps wasn't bad. If I remember correctly, you're called Yi Zichen. Deng Qing smiled kindly, causing Yi Zichen to subconsciously move back a bit. This sort of wolf granny smile had tricked countless Little Red Riding Hood. What are you doing? Yi Zichen looked at him vigilantly while maintaining a suitable distance. Why are you like this? Do you think I'm a bad person? Heh, you don't seem like a good person either. Hearing that, Deng Qing smiled wryly. I just wanted to ask, are you a medical university student? Chinese medicine major? No. Then, I'm a veterinarian. Deng Qing's expression instantly darkened. Can we even have a pleasant conversation now? Young man, you're so vigilant. The reason why I can live so long is because of this vigilance that normal people cannot match. Yi Zichen did not move at all. Only when he saw Deng Qing's increasingly awkward expression did he speak up once again. You came to find me in such a scary manner in the middle of the night. What do you want? Just say it. Ugh, it was the first time that a junior didn't give him any face at all. I want you to come to our hospital to be a Chinese medicine doctor. I can directly make you an attending physician. Oh, Yi Zichen stretched lazily and stood up from the flower bed without even batting an eyelid. Not going. A 20-year-old attending physician. This was practically unheard of in the medical world. Deng Qing thought that the other party would happily agree, but he refused. I didn't hear it wrong, right? You're not coming to be an attending physician? Not coming, Yi Zichen shrugged. Being a doctor is indeed a high-paying profession, but I don't lack money. Being a doctor isn't just about earning money, it's also about saving people and helping the people. Stop. Yi Zichen's ears got calluses when he heard this. If you want to save people, you can still save people without being a doctor. If it's purely for money, then it's useless even if you put on that white coat. Saving people depends on the heart, not the profession. To put it bluntly, do all doctors aim to save people? I think that's only a minority. Deng Cheng was speechless. That was how the market was. He was unable to retort. Yi Zichen sighed in his heart when he saw the other party's powerless lips move. Perhaps this old man was a doctor who wholeheartedly wanted to save people. However, not everyone else was like that. Yi Zichen ignored the old man's bleakness and left the flower bed with a wave of his hand. In the current era, the pursuit of fame and fortune, the most important thing was profit. With profit in mind, it would gradually cause people to forget their original intentions. Yi Zichen would help those who needed help, and he would help those who needed help. But it could save people and help the people. Yi Zichen's abilities were limited. He couldn't make such a great wish. Perhaps people would say that his morals weren't right, but now, how many of them were right? Chapter 132. Method of Resurrection. He sneaked back to the villa. Because it was too late, the lights in the living room were all off. At this moment, a deep green light emerged from the darkness. Are you trying to scare me? Turn off your special effects. Boss, the green light in the darkness was stunned. Not long later, the green light disappeared, and Yi Zichen also turned on the living room light. Why are you wandering around in the middle of the night instead of sleeping properly? If it weren't for my strong mental fortitude, I would have been scared to death by you. Lil White smiled, then wagged his tail and rubbed against Yi Zichen. I'm just afraid that a thief has broken into our house. Good, your vigilance is not bad. But how did you do that special effect just now? Show me another one. These aren't special effects, they're scanning eyes. Whitey wagged its tail proudly, and a green light appeared in its puppy eyes. Ouch. Yi Zichen smiled. This thing was really fun. After a while, Whitey turned off the scanner. Yi Zichen crossed his legs and sat on the sofa, while Lil White also ran over. Boss, how is it? It looks pretty cool. How practical is it? Our scanning eyes have many functions, tell me. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows in interest, while Lil White frowned for a long time. I'm not too sure either. He raised his hand and slapped Whitey's head. He knew that this dog was a money-losing dog. Boss, why did you hit me again? Lil White had a wronged expression. Yi Zichen let out a long sigh helplessly. What's the point of developing those useless skills every day? They might seem powerful, but they're not practical. I'm still young. Go, go, go. Go to the side and wait. Yi Zichen chased Lil White away in annoyance, then took out his phone and looked for King Chujiang on the sofa. King Chujiang. King Chujiang, who was listening to music in the second hall of hell, was shocked when he saw this news. Why was this expert looking for him? Could it be that he needed help from the underworld again, or that this expert was looking for trouble? For a time, the King Yenluo of hell was filled with a myriad of thoughts. King Chujiang. Another message appeared on the screen. King Chujiang swallowed his saliva and chased away His Highness actors. He held his phone for a while before replying. Here. I thought you were asleep. When he saw the news, he was stunned for a long time. How could the 10 Yama Kings have the time to sleep? Every day there would be wandering ghosts coming over. They had to judge cases and give orders. Time was tight. But how could he dare to refute the words of an expert? I'm not asleep. What can I do for you? This time, it was Yi Zichen who was shocked. No matter what, he's one of the 10 Yama Kings of the underworld. Why is he so subservient? But if he was a coward, so be it. It had nothing to do with him. I don't have any instructions. I just wanted to say that you should tell me about the method of resurrection and the Yin virtue. Although he did not know what Yin merits could be used for in the later stages, it would definitely be useful. Alright, I'll give you the merits right away. Ding dong. King Chujiang sent over a red packet. Yi Zichen clicked on it. You have received King Chujiang's red packet. Heaven and Earth merits. 10,000 you have been promoted in hell. You are now a rank 4 emissary of Hell. The officials in Hell had been promoted once more. Yi Zichen didn't pay any attention to it. He accepted the red packet and replied. Resurrection technique. The method of resurrecting someone who has yet to die can be said to be simple, but it can also be said to be difficult. Pick the key points. Alright. On the other side of the underworld, King Chujiang wiped off the cold sweat on his forehead. This expert was really impatient. If you want to resurrect those who have died before their time, you need the 9-heart lotus root, the dragon eye that has cultivated for 1,000 years, and the holy water of first origin. At the same time, you need the immortal grade pill, the 3-stripe soul-clearing heaven-returning pill. You can only be resurrected in the reincarnation pool of the 6 halls of hell. After receiving the message, Yi Zichen noted down everything he needed, then went to the treasure shop to search. There was no 9-heart lotus root. There was no 1,000-year-old dragon eye. There was no holy water of first origin. More importantly, resurrection would require a trip to hell. This was no different from not saying anything. Could it be that a mortal like him could run to the underworld? King Chujiang, are you playing tricks on me? On the underworld side, King Chujiang broke out in cold sweat. No, I'm only speaking the truth. All right, then tell me, how is a mortal like this sovereign going to the underworld? That's no problem. If you collect the things you need, then I can open the passageway between the mortal realm and the underworld for you. The anger in Yi Zichen's heart calmed down quite a bit when he saw this message. Since the other party was able to open the passageway, it meant that it was possible. What lotus root, holy water? Tell this sovereign where to get 9-heart lotus root, holy water of Yuan, and so on. Immortal lady, he in the heavenly court should have the 9-heart lotus root. The 1,000-year-old dragon eye is the eye of a 1,000-year-old Taoist dragon. As for the holy water of Yuan, what about the holy water of Yuan? King Chujiang, who sat on the throne, licked his lips. The holy water of Yuan couldn't be found at all. However, from the looks of this expert, it seemed like he had to resurrect someone who had yet to die. If word of this got out, this sovereign is asking you a question. F***ck, stop rushing me. King Chujiang cursed silently in his heart, then clenched his teeth. The holy water of Yuan can be obtained by soaking soul pearl Yuan in the rootless water outside the moon palace in the heavenly court for 49 days. Soul pearl Yuan. King Chujiang, tell me, is there still soul pearl Yuan in this world? Zoom. Cold sweat instantly flowed down King Chujiang's forehead. He knew that this expert definitely knew about the secrets of soul pearl Yuan. Expert, I'm speaking the truth. However, it isn't impossible to find soul pearl Yuan. Then tell me how to find it. The treasure pearl Yuan shattered back then and scattered across the 4 seas, as well as the extreme north and my underworld's purgatory. You can try. King Chujiang didn't dare to continue. F***ck, he didn't believe that it could be found. Not to mention the 4 seas, just the extreme north. Who could find the fragment in such a huge place? However, Yi Zichen reacted differently when he saw the message. The underworld has one as well. He flipped through the treasure chest on WeChat. The 5 fragments of soul pearl Yuan were in his hands. The one he lacked was the one in the underworld. You said that your underworld has a fragment as well? This expert can't be thinking about it, right? To be honest, King Chujiang didn't want to give it to him. Even if it was a fragment of soul pearl Yuan, it was still a supreme treasure. What's more, the fragment wasn't in the hands of the 10 Yama kings. Our underworld does have a piece. Give it to me. Yi Zichen finally experienced the feeling of being a bandit. He reached out his hand and asked for it. King Chujiang cried. It's not in my hands. Then who has it? Yi Zichen was in a rather bad mood. This King Chujiang always gave him hope, then disappointed him. It's at King Xidigarba's. Sure, go get the fragment from King Xidigarba's. If you can't, Yi Zichen sent a row of bloody emojis. Chapter 133. You're lucky I don't need it. It was a silent night. The next morning, Mother Yi sent Tian to kindergarten. Since there was no one in the mansion, Yi Zichen started to get busy. Reviving Lu Jing was a must. Although the treasures required were rather hard to obtain, that was not a reason for Yi Zichen to not act. Yi Zichen didn't have the chance to get to know immortal Lady He. Old Lord Taishang was also in a cold war. The only thing he could do now seemed to be to get the dragon eye first. When it came to dragon slaying, the third prince was definitely a professional. He might even be able to get a 1,000-year-old dragon eye from him. Third prince, what are you doing, celestial sovereign? Adorable third prince's portrait flashed. The third prince must have slaughtered many dragons. Of course. When it came to dragon slaying, if Neza said he was number 1, no one would dare to say they were number 2. I've slain at least 800 dragons, if not 1,000. But why are you asking about this, celestial venerable? I want to ask for a 1,000-year-old dragon eye from the third prince. 1,000 years of cultivation. Third Prince Neza hesitated and said, I don't think I've killed a dragon with 1,000 years of cultivation. Yi Zichen's heart instantly turned cold when he saw this. If even Najah didn't have it, then it would be impossible to find a dragon eye with 1,000 years of cultivation in the heavenly court. Oh right, when I first joined the group, I sent a dragon. That dragon was 1,000 years old. At this moment, Third Prince Neza suddenly replied. Yi Zichen subconsciously touched the dragon eye in his pocket when he saw the message. You said that dragon has 1,000 years of cultivation. Yeah. Third Prince Neza replied, if Sky Sovereign needs it, I can help you ask who got the dragon eye. No need, the dragon eye is with me. Yi Zichen quickly replied. Then the dragon eye is 1,000-year-old dragon eye. Is there anything else, Empyrean? It seemed like Third Prince Neza still wanted to go back to sleep. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows. Does the third prince have any 9-heart lotus roots? 9-heart lotus root. The third prince hesitated for a moment before saying, I don't have that. Even the heavenly court probably doesn't have such a treasure. Only anti-immortal he of the 8 immortals might have it. Then can you help me get it? We can't. We're not very familiar with the 8 immortals. It seems like we can't help you, celestial venerable. Alright, I got it. Go to sleep, third prince. He already had the 1,000-year dragon eye, but he could only get the 9-heart lotus root from immortal Lady He. However, there didn't seem to be anyone from the 8 immortals in the Heavenly Court's WeChat group. Boss, someone seems to be looking for you. Lil White ran into the mansion with its tongue out. Yi Zichen put down his phone and looked out the window. A black Bentley was parked outside the courtyard. Zhu Xiliang was standing in front of the courtyard with his hands behind his back. Why is this kid here? Yi Zichen squinted his eyes, then quickly thought of a possibility. He smiled and shook his head. Look after the house well. Understood. Xiao Bai wagged his tail and said, with me here, no one will come in. Besides, if it really doesn't work out, we still have a bunch of underlings, right? You're the best. Yi Zichen rubbed his head a few times, then walked out of the mansion. Yi Zichen. After the series of events the day before, Zhu Xiliang's gaze towards Yi Zichen was filled with respect. This was a feeling that would only appear when he treated Yi Zichen as an opponent. Yang Jin told you to come and find me, right? He's still so arrogant. Zhu Xiliang didn't expect Yi Zichen to be able to guess it so thoroughly. He merely nodded with a smile. It was indeed Uncle Yang who told me to pick you up. He's accompanying Yusher in the hospital, so don't help him find excuses. Would you believe that? Yi Zichen snorted coldly. I think you should know better than me what sort of person he is. About this, Zhu Xiliang paused. He did know very well that if there were no surprises, Yang Zhen should still be discussing business in the hospital. Alright, don't waste my time. Bring me over to take a look. I do want to see if Yang Zhen can be more mindful after this. Then let's go. Zhu Xilyang also laughed softly. Within the First People's Hospital's special ward, several tens of bodyguards in black stood in 2 rows against the wall. When the medical staff passed by, they couldn't help but gulp. There was no helping it, this sort of situation was indeed a bit too scary. Within the ward, Yang Zhen was not like other fathers, who worriedly took care of his woman after learning that she was injured. From the moment he entered the ward, his phone never stopped ringing. He was also busy earning money. Yang Yushir seemed to have gotten used to this sort of situation. She looked down at the latest issue of a fashion magazine in her hospital gown, as if Yang Zhen wasn't in the ward at all. They were like strangers. That's exactly how they were. After finally ending the phone call, Yang Zhen frowned and hung up the phone. It was as if the phone call didn't go well for him. Yushir, just when he was about to speak, the phone in his hand rang again. Yang Zhen looked at his phone. At the same time, Yang Yushir also put the fashion magazine to the side. Can we go out and call? I want to rest. Are you blaming me? Yang Zhen ignored the ringing phone in his hand. Everything I'm doing right now is for you, for your future. I didn't deny it, did I? Yang Yushir's lips curled into a self-deprecating smile. She slowly covered herself with the blanket. For me, it's all for me. Don't mess around. Why can't you understand me? Dad, do you think I'm messing around? Yang Yushir, who was covered with the blanket, suddenly sat up. Her eyes were red. Do you know that I almost died yesterday? But what did you do after you came? Make phone calls, discuss business. You've been in my ward for more than 6 hours. Have you ever cared about me? In your eyes, do you think business is more important than me? Then I'm doing this for you. Won't I still have to leave the money I earn to you in the end? The Zhu family is a big family. If I don't work hard to bring you enough dowry, what if you get bullied in the Zhu family? I don't like Zhu Xilyang at all. Say that again. Yang Zhen's face suddenly turned gloomy. I said I don't like Zhu Xilyang. Yang Yushir screamed, and the tears in her eyes flowed uncontrollably. I don't like everything you've arranged for me. I don't want the so-called luck you've left for me. I don't want it at all. Okay, your client is looking for you. Please leave. I want to rest. Evil creature. Yang Zhen raised his hand to hit her. Yang Yushir sat there without dodging and stared at him. Slap. Just as Yang Zhen's hand was about to fall, a strong hand suddenly grabbed his wrist. Chapter 134. Love Rival? Friends? Let go of Director Yang. The 2 bodyguards beside Yang Zhen surrounded him. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and looked at them. Okay. Yi Zichen shrugged and took 2 steps back. Yang Zhen twisted his wrist and said to the bodyguard beside him, Stay here and protect the young lady. With that, he walked to Yi Zichen's side and looked meaningfully at him before leaving the ward. Yang Yushir, who was lying on the bed, bit her lips. Yi Zichen nodded towards her with a smile, then walked out of the ward. Director Yang's method of educating children is so normal. The moment he left the ward, Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile playfully and twitch his mouth. Hitting a child, this kind of education method is already very low. The way I educate my daughter doesn't need you to tell me what to do. Yang Zhen always had that dead fish face. If it wasn't because he was an elder, Yi Zichen really wanted to slap him. It's not like I owe him money. Yi Zichen shrugged with a playful smile. What did you find me for? Could it be that you want to thank me for saving your daughter's life? Sure, then thank me. Yi Zichen crossed his arms and acted like he was waiting for the other party to thank him. However, at that moment the other party handed him a check. Yi Zichen couldn't help but laugh when he saw the check. You're still so full of yourself. Yi Zichen crushed the check into a ball and chucked it onto the floor with a cold smile. Yi Zichen pointed at Yang Zhen with a smile. Don't think that money is everything. The moment you took out this check, I felt like you were truly hopeless. Yang Zhen remained silent with a dark expression. Yi Zichen also spoke up once again. Do you know what Yang Yushir wants? Do you think that pure financial satisfaction will make her happy? Gramps, you'll feel like you're a slave to money like this. I can feel the stench of money on you from far away. Have you said enough? More or less, Yizichin nodded. There's one more thing. I feel like Yang Yushir doesn't deserve to have a father like you. Yizichin waved towards Yang Zhen, then left the hospital with Su Yan. Zhu Xilyang, who had been standing on the side, walked over. Yang Zhen squinted his eyes and shook his head as he looked in the direction Yizichin left. Go in and accompany Yushir. I still have a contract to discuss. No, Uncle Yang, it's better for me to send him off. He nodded politely at Yang Zhen, but before he left, he suddenly stopped. Uncle Yang, I think you should spend more time with Yushir. She's actually very lonely. Why didn't you stay in the hospital to accompany your cheap father-in-law? Why did you come out to find me, your former rival in love? Yizichin sat in a cafe near the hospital with an untouched latte in front of him. Actually, he didn't really like coffee. If he had the money, he would rather have a cold drink. It would be nice to be cool. I didn't expect you to be such a humorous person. Zhu Xilyang picked up his coffee and took a sip. Why are you looking for me? Although I'm not as busy as the boss of a large corporation, I have a lot of things to do today. I know you're busy. Zhu Xilyang always wore a warm smile no matter what, as if he was a naturally good person and didn't know how to get angry. I just wanted to become friends with you. Yizichin glanced at him as if he was looking at a lunatic. Are you sick? You shouldn't be unable to tell what's going on between Yang Yushir and me, right? You want to become friends with me? So what? This doesn't affect us getting to know each other. Zhu Xilyang smiled, then his expression turned gloomy. Actually, Yushir has never accepted me in her heart. Back then, I suspected that there was someone who left a deep impression on her in her heart, until you appeared yesterday. You look very unscrupulous on the surface, and your actions are rather impulsive at times, but anyone can feel that you care for Yushir no less than anyone else, or even more than anyone else. Surpass you as well? Yizichin raised his eyebrows and smiled. Surpass me? Zhu Xilyang actually replied without any hesitation. Yizichin was stunned when he heard his reply. No need to look at me like that. I do like Yushir a lot, but it's more about the family's marriage. We have no choice. After a moment of silence, Yizichin smiled mysteriously. I suddenly feel like people like you are rather pitiful. All of you have become sacrifices for your families. Sort of. Zhu Xilyang smiled softly. All right, that's it. We've pretty much talked about what we needed to talk about. I have limited time, so I'll be leaving first. Yizichin nodded towards Zhu Xilyang with a smile, then stood up from the chair and turned to leave. Then the two of us are love rival. Yizichin turned around and raised his eyebrows towards Zhu Xilyang, then left the coffee shop with a wave of his hand. Zhu Xilyang only smiled when Yizichin disappeared from the coffee shop. Love rival, huh? That's rather interesting. I feel like that guy is pretty nice. Lu Jing floated out and pouted. Yizichin nodded. When he thought back to Zhu Xilyang's behavior in the past 2 days, it seemed like he did not have the arrogance of a rich second generation, and was rather interesting. He's pretty nice, but he's rather pitiful. Why? Lu Jing blinked her cute eyes. I feel like people who were born with a golden spoon are all very lucky. Is that so? Yizichin smiled meaningfully and shrugged. Actually, they are all sacrifices of their families. They were born for the benefit of their families, and then married someone else for the benefit of their families. People like that aren't very happy. Oh, I don't get it. I don't even have anyone I like. Lu Jing frowned for some reason. Yizichin raised his hand and rubbed her hair. Don't be like that, Big Bro already has a way to revive you. The only thing left is a matter of time. Lu Jing suddenly opened her mouth as if she wanted to say something, but she was unable to say anything after moving her lips for a long time. Yizichin looked at her and said, What happened to you? Nothing. Lu Jing shook her head with a smile, then floated behind him. Countless thoughts flashed through her mind as she looked at his back. She wanted to revive, she wanted to return to her parents' side. But she wanted to stay by his side even more. What's more, even if she revived, how could she go back? Yi Zichen did not think that much. The only thing on his mind right now was to revive Lu Jing. That was his promise to her, he had to do it. However, where was he supposed to get the things needed for revival? He only had a dragon eye with 1,000 years of cultivation. He didn't even have the rest. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. At that moment, the phone in his pocket continuously rang with notifications. Yi Zichen conveniently sat down on the flower bed and took out his phone. Tai Bai Jinxing invited Iron Crutchley, Zhongli Quan, Elder Zhang Gua, Lan Saiha, Immortal Lady He, Lu Dongbin, Han Xiangzi and Xiao Guizhou to the chat group. Chapter 135. The 8 Immortals read envelope. The 8 Immortals crossed the sea, each displaying their own abilities. Yi Zichen had known this since he was young, and he had watched television dramas before the 8 Immortals became immortals. He still held some respect and curiosity towards these immortals. More importantly, Immortal Lady He entered the group. When the 8 Immortals entered the group, the more active immortals in the group all came out to welcome them. For example, God of Thunder, am I seeing things? The 8 Immortals are here. Canopy Marshal, Old Pig, had to come out and join in the fun. Immortality Peach Fairy, the 8 Immortals. Third Prince Neza, wow, the 8 Immortals are here. Erlang Shin, woof woof woof. There were also some people who didn't really show up. For example, Wu Gang. The 8 Immortals entering the group scared me so much that I stopped chopping trees. Chong Yi, you're finally not chopping down trees. I'm so annoyed that I can't sleep. Ahem, welcome, 8 Immortals. Barefoot Immortal. 8 Immortals, you are finally here. Perhaps the people in the group were too enthusiastic. The 8 Immortals did not dare to speak after entering the group. Seeing that, Yi Zichen felt anxious, so he directly cleared the group. Ahem, I can understand why the 8 Immortals are so excited, but you guys are too much. Look, the 8 Immortals are so scared that they don't even dare to speak. God of Thunder, wow, the Celestial Master is here. Immortality Peach Fairy, Idol. Third Prince Neza, Sky Sovereign, you're here too. Wu Gang, isn't this the great deity? Chong Yi, greetings, Sky Sovereign. The moment Yi Zichen appeared, the mood in the group changed. He scratched his nose awkwardly and sent another message. Ahem, pay attention to the main point. Let's welcome the 8 Immortals to the stage. Iron Crutchley, well, I finally have a chance to talk. Lu Dongbin, hello everyone. Sword God. Yi Zichen was extremely excited as he held his phone. Great deity Lu Dongbin, who was known as the pure Yang ancestor, had always been his idol when he was young. Of course, the reason why she had such a deep impression of him was because of that sentence. The dog that bit Lu Dongbin did not recognize the kindness of others. Celestial Maiden He, hello. Canopy Marshal, hello, Celestial Lady He. Followed by a row of emojis. God of Thunder, Canopy Marshal, you've been exposed. Chong Yi, this guy can't move when he sees He Xingu. God of Thunder, why do I smell jealousy? Wu Gang, who dares to insult my goddess? Canopy Marshal, Chong Yi, there's only you in my heart, not her. Lan Saiha, has the Heavenly Court's relationship become so complicated recently? Han Xiangzi, yeah, right. It was interesting to see the Immortals chatting, but why didn't they get down to business? Newcomers wanted red packets when they joined the group. What's the point of bickering here? Red packets are the most important thing, okay? It seemed like he had to break the deadlock himself. Ahem, stop joking around. It's time for new people to give out red packets. Who is this great immortal? In a certain mystic realm in the immortal world, Iron Crutchley knocked Lu Dongbin, who was dressed in white and had an immortal sword on his back, with a wine gourd in his hand. You're asking me, but how would I know? However, this great immortal seems to be quite popular in the Heavenly Court. Could it be that he just ascended? I think it's possible. Zhang Guolao leaned over and said. We all know those old immortals in the heavenly court. This unfamiliar face might have really ascended when we weren't in the heavenly court recently. Then, should we make a fortune or not, of course? Lan Saiha narrowed his eyes and smiled. No matter what, we can't break the rules. Isn't that right, immortal aunt? I have no objections. He Xingu stroked her hair and nodded. Then let's send it. Han Zhongli made the final decision. Ahem, fellow Taoist, don't be anxious. Let's get rich now. Iron Crutch Li was the typical spokesperson of the 8 immortals. No matter when the opening was, he would always be the one to speak. As soon as he said that, a bunch of red packets appeared in the group. Yi Zichen stared at the screen with full concentration, and waited for the moment the red packet appeared so that he could snatch it. He did not believe that a 4G connection could be slow. But he did not expect, what the hell? A row of red packets instantly appeared, causing Yi Zichen to be shocked. Who did he snatch it from? Originally, he wanted to snatch Immortal Lady He's, but after searching for a long time, he still couldn't find her. He might as well choose whichever one he saw. But unfortunately, no matter which one he clicked on, it was all snatched up. Canopy Marshal. Haha, old pig will snatch 4. God of Thunder. 6 are just passing by. Immortality Peach Fairy. I got 7. Wu Gang, Humph. 1. Chong E3. Yi Zichen wanted to cry when he saw all the deities in the group show off how many red packets they got. F***CK. He didn't get a single one. When the people near the bus stop saw Yi Zichen's excited and depressed look, they all stayed far away from him, as if he was crazy. At this moment, Lu Jing also sat beside him with her hands on the flower bed, and comforted him softly. Don't be sad, deities are definitely better at snatching red packets than us mortals. How can I be happy? Yi Zichen sighed softly. Red packets from deities, especially from the 8 deities. He might be able to get some good treasures. The most important thing was Immortal Lady He's red packet. He might be able to get a 9-heart lotus root if he was lucky, then wouldn't that save a lot of trouble? Although he was just trying his luck. Oh, aren't you very amazing in the heavenly court? You can ask them for private ones. We have so many good things to eat and play in real life, just exchange with them. Lu Jing floated behind Yi Zichen and squeezed his shoulders. Yi Zichen couldn't help but laugh when he heard her words. This girl, after being with him for so long, she pretty much knew all of his tricks. When he thought about how she wouldn't be able to stay by his side every day after she revives, Yi Zichen was a bit reluctant. How about I don't revive her? Yi Zichen quickly shook his head the moment that thought appeared. He had to revive Lu Jing. Buzz, at that moment Yi Zichen's phone in his pocket rang. He took out his phone and looked at the caller ID. Fatty Bai. Fatty Bai, what are you looking for me for? Bai Dahai, who sat in the office, locked the door tightly and paced around the office several times. He only spoke after confirming that there were no surveillance cameras or voice recorders. Young Master Yi, Haowen contacted me just now. Yi Zichen smiled. It seemed like this fatty had decided that he still wanted to follow him. You've decided? You want to defect? Bai Dahai, who was standing in the office, gulped. He had struggled a few times before making such a decision. Young Master Yi, can you promise to save my wife and daughter? Fatty Bai, are you doubting my strength? Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. If you want to follow me, then I can promise to do my best to save them. If you don't follow me, then Haowen won't let your wife and daughter go. All in all, Yi Zichen's words only had one meaning. You have no choice. All right, I'll follow young Master Yi. Fatty Bai also understood that Yi Zichen's words were reasonable. Just now, Haowen told me to start preparing. He's about to make a move. Hearing that, Yi Zichen squinted his eyes. Chapter 136. An experienced driver. You said that Han Jing is in this mall? Yi Zichen sat in a black van with a pair of binoculars, while Dongfang Wenyi nodded. Yeah, I've been getting people to follow her these few days. She's shopping in this mall right now. After she finishes shopping, she will leave by herself to a residential area in the suburbs. If I'm not wrong, Haowen should be living there. Yi Zichen handed the binoculars to Dongfang Wenyi's people, then took out a cigarette from his pocket and handed it to Dongfang Wenyi. Dongfang Wenyi received the cigarette in shock, while Yi Zichen also shook his shoulders. It's been hard on you. It's my duty, it's my honor to be able to help young Master Yi. Dongfang Wenyi nodded with a smile. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows with a smile. What I'm referring to is that it's been hard on you to lower yourself to sit in this van. No. Dongfang Wenyi shook his head. Their Dongfang family had half of the business circle in the capital. It could be said that he was already at the top of the pyramid. However, even he, Dongfang Wenyi, did not dare to slight someone from that place. More importantly, their Dongfang family also wanted to go to that place recently, and Yi Zichen was coincidentally from that place. He had to grab this chance and make the Dongfang family no longer a secular family. The target has appeared. The person holding the binoculars suddenly spoke up. Yi Zichen quickly snatched the binoculars over. Han Jing was dressed up beautifully at the entrance of the mall across the road. Although she was wearing aviator sunglasses, Yi Zichen could still confirm that she was Han Jing. That's right, it's this woman. Follow her. No problem. Dongfang Wenyi lowered the brim of his hat and drove the van unhurriedly behind Han Jing's Porsche. The car gradually drove out of the city. When they entered the suburbs, the number of cars gradually decreased. At this moment, if Han Jing was slightly alert, she would notice the strangeness of their van. However, she didn't care at all. With her saint heart, she couldn't be bothered with the van. How could Haowen like this dumb girl? Yi Zichen couldn't help but shake his head with a smile. They had already followed so openly for 2 hours, yet Han Jing didn't notice at all. Good life. The Hulk sitting in the back suddenly said that. Yi Zichen was stunned for a moment, then gave him a thumbs up. Classic. Hee hee. The burly man laughed dryly and scratched his head. These bodyguards were all rough people. He had blurted it out casually just now. As soon as the words left his mouth, he felt that something was wrong. He didn't expect that she wouldn't blame him. Classic my ass. Lu Jing snorted as she floated on top of the van with her hands on her hips. A bunch of hooligans. I'm going back to sleep. Yi Zichen couldn't help but smile when he saw the angry Lu Jing. This little girl's face was quite small. It stopped. At this moment, Dongfang Wenyi suddenly spoke. Yi Zichen took a look. Han Jing had indeed stopped the car. Keep driving, don't attract her attention, but do it slowly. All right. Dongfang Wenyi nodded and drove past. When Han Jing saw their van, she showed a look of disgust. This woman, she's pissing me off. Dongfang Wenyi cursed. He was a young master who grew up with a golden spoon in his mouth. When had he ever been looked down upon like this? What's there to be angry about? Yi Zichen rolled his eyes, then continued to look at Han Jing. Stop! Screeched Dongfang when he stepped on the brake. Yi Zichen opened the car door as fast as he could and ran towards Han Jing. Don't move, raise your hands. Yi Zichen smiled frivolously, then pointed his finger at the back of Han Jing's head like a gun. Crash! All of the things in Han Jing's hands fell onto the ground. She raised her hands with trembling hands. You what you? What do you want to say? Yi Zichen's smile became more and more playful. At the same time, the two hulks that Dongfang Wenyi brought also walked over. What do you guys want to do? What? Yi Zichen raised the corner of his mouth, then intentionally gulped loudly. We want to rape. Sure. You guys are the ones driving the van, right? I'll go to the car with you guys. F***ck so bold. This woman agreed without even pausing. Should he say that she cherished her life, or that she wasn't satisfied? Could it be that this wasn't the first time? She even knew to get in the car. Old driver. This woman cuckolded Haowen plenty of times, right? Thinking of that, Yi Zichen couldn't help but mourn for Hao-Wen in his heart. He thought that he found a treasure, but in the end, he was just a scapegoat. Let's go, didn't you guys want to rape? For some reason, Han Jing actually calmed down at that moment, and her tone seemed to contain a hint of anticipation. The two hulks couldn't help but look at each other. Then they looked at Yi Zichen. What are you looking at? These two brothers really want to rape. Yi Zichen rolled his eyes in annoyance, then grabbed Han Jing's wrist with his right hand and pushed her against the wall. Big bro, it's not good for people to come and go like this, right? Han Jing spoke up once again. It's inconvenient for you to grab my hand. Let go of me, I'll definitely cooperate. Cooperate your ass, Yi Zichen cursed in annoyance. I'm asking you, are you Hao-Wen's mistress? Yes. Does Hao-Wen live here? Hearing that, Han Jing suddenly stopped. Yi Zichen pushed his finger forward. Not saying? Still silence. Bang! Yi Zichen pretended to shoot, causing Han Jing's legs to tremble. What's that smell? Yi Zichen glanced down, and saw that there was water flowing out from Han Jing's thigh under her skirt. Unlucky. Yi Zichen cursed silently. If you don't want to die, then hurry up and say it. Is Hao-Wen here? Big bro, if you want to rape, then rape. If you want to rob, then rob. I'll cooperate with you in whatever you want. I'm F***King asking you a question, stop playing dumb with lousy. Say it, is Hao-Wen here or not? Yi Zichen also lost his patience. He had thought that the woman would reveal the news immediately, but he didn't expect that she was rather loyal to Hao-Wen. You're not going to say it, right? If you're not going to say it, then I'll send you. Send her to where? At that moment, Yi Zichen suddenly felt something pressed against the back of his head. He turned his neck stiffly, and saw that the two hulks that came down with him had already been subdued, and were kneeling on the ground with guns pointed at their heads. Dongfang Wenyi also had a gun pointed at his head by a man. If there was no surprise, then the one behind him, Yi Zichen slowly turned his head, and saw Hao-Wen, whose eyes were bloodshot, with a menacing expression, pressing a gun against Yi Zichen's forehead. Say something, if you don't say anything. Bang! Hao-Wen copied Yi Zichen's expression and smiled. When Han Jing ran over in tears. Han Jing ran over in tears. Hao-Wen hugged her and pressed the gun in his hand against Yi Zichen's forehead. Chapter 137. You're too inexperienced. It would be bullshit if Yi Zichen said that he wasn't scared when the gun was pointed at him. Yi Zichen squinted his eyes and glanced at Hao-Wen. This guy seems to be very displeased with me. Look at his bloodshot eyes. If it wasn't a lawful society, he might have directly opened fire. Yi Zichen, I remember you. Hao-Wen's face was dark, while a sinister smile covered his face. You got together with that bitch, Xiao Yimei, right? How is it? She shouldn't be bad in bed, right? How did Yimei fall for you in university? Yi Zichen twitched his mouth and smiled. You don't look like a proper person. Could it be that you were still a shy young man in university? Did you still have a conscience? F***CKU. Hao-Wen kicked out, causing Yi Zichen to fall onto the corner of the wall while holding his stomach. Hao-Wen's gun was pointed straight at Yi Zichen's head, while his finger gradually pressed onto the trigger, as if he was hesitating whether he should directly shoot Yi Zichen or not. Ha, you're pretty strong. Yi Zichen pushed off the ground with his hands and stood up. He brushed off the dust and grass on his body, then raised his hands and admitted defeat. This time, it's my fault. Let my friends go. If you want to kill me or cut me up, you can do it. You admit defeat? Hao-Wen laughed maniacally. Then, he squinted his eyes and said, Do you think Laozi is an idiot? Would Laozi still be able to live if I let your friends go? Then you're not letting them go? Yi Zichen smiled playfully, then pointed at Dongfang Wenyi, who was being controlled. That's the capital's Dongfang family's young master, Dongfang Wenyi. Are you sure you dare to kill him? Or do you think that the people behind you will offend a huge entity like the Dongfang family for a small fry like you? Dongfang Wenny. Hao Wen's eyelids twitched. He signaled towards the people beside him with his eyes, then restrained Yi Zichen. He walked in front of Dongfang Wenny. You're Dongfang Xiong's grandson? Is Dongfang Xiong someone you can call? Dongfang Wenny frowned. Dongfang Xiong was the Dongfang family's old family head, as well as his grandfather. It could be said that anyone in the imperial capital would give Dongfang Xiong some face at the mention of his name. Humph, what are you pretending for? Hao Wen slapped Dongfang Wenny's face and said, I don't care if you're a member of the Dongfang family. Remember, you're in my hands now. You, Before Dongfang Wenny could say anything, Hao Wen had already pressed the gun against his temple. Young Master Dongfang, if you want to suffer a bit, then don't speak, understand? Don't tell me that you don't understand the logic of being under someone else's roof? Dongfang Wenny glared at him from the corner of his eyes. His eyes were like those of a lone wolf with unconcealable anger. Yo, are you angry? Hao Wen raised his hand and patted Dongfang Wenny's face twice, then gestured to the younger brother next to him. Let young Master Dongfang relax. Bang! The underling beside him greeted Dongfang Wenny's stomach with a punch. The two strong men he brought struggled to get up, but they were firmly held down by Hao Wen's men. Hao Wen, don't make a mistake. Coldness flashed across Yi Zichen's eyes. Hao Wen raised his eyebrows, then shrugged with a smile. What is it? Lousy is the heavens here, what do you think you can do? That was indeed the case. The 10-odd underlings in Hao Wen's hands all had guns. He had the ability to act cocky in front of the unarmed Yi Zichen and company. However, Director Hao put down the gun. The man who was controlling the two strong men that Dongfang Wenny brought suddenly pointed the muzzle of his gun at Hao Wen. Lil, Six, what are you doing? Six, your grandma. Lil Six raised his gun and walked in front of Hao Wen, then slapped him. Look, who exactly is Grandpa? Lil Six forcefully tore off the mask on his face. Hao Wen was stunned when he saw the person in front of him. Li Minghu. You recognize who Lousy is? Clap, clap. Lil Six clapped his hands, causing half of Hao Wen's underlings to point their guns at the others. Not long later, all of Hao Wen's underlings were subdued. Dongfang Wenny was stunned. Why did someone suddenly betray him? But from the looks of it, he licked his lips and walked in front of Hao Wen, then slapped him. F***ck, you dare to hit Lousy? Bang! Lil Six kicked him, causing Hao Wen to directly kneel onto the ground. Hit Lousy, hit Lousy. While Dongfang Wenny went to argue with Hao Wen, Yi Zichen also walked in front of Li Minghu with a smile. Hu Ji, it's been hard on you to be a spy for so long. Ha, we'll do it when there's money to earn, Li Minghu smiled. But you and Director Xiao are truly a good match, you're so generous. I, Tiger, just don't understand one thing. I've already been a spy here for several days, why did you only act now, and you even made me intentionally leak information to him? Try that one over there, Yi Zichen glanced towards Dongfang Wenny, while Li Minghu rubbed his bald head. Ha, I really don't understand you cunning tigers. Haha, Hu Ji, just collect the money at ease. Yeah, I, Tiger, will collect the money at ease. Ha, recently, I, Tiger, have been rather lucky, but it's all thanks to you and Director Xiao. You two allowed Tiger to rest for a while. Li Minghu rubbed his bald head and laughed idiotically. Meanwhile, Hao Wen was more or less beaten half to death by Dongfang Wenny. In order to prevent anyone from dying, Yi Zichen quickly walked over. Enough, young Master Dongfang, stop fighting. We'll have to take responsibility if he dies. Heh, if it wasn't because young Master Yi still needs him, I really wouldn't care about killing him. Dongfang Wenny snorted coldly. F***ck, he's only been beaten by his Lousy since he was born. Today, he actually got slapped by this grandson. Alright, don't be angry. Yi Zichen patted Dongfang Wenny's shoulders, then squatted beside Hao Wen. Grandson, you're too young to want to play with Lousy. Hao Wen spat out blood as he clenched his teeth and cursed, Yi Zichen, you better not touch me. Yi Zichen returned the words back to him. Oh? I'd like to hear the details. Do you think that Bai Dahai gave the jewelry store to you willingly? Laozi made him do it. If you don't want anything to happen, then let Laozi go, otherwise. Yi Zichen took out his phone and called Bai Dahai in front of Haowen. Bai Dahai, young Master Yi, how is it? All of a sudden, Haowen's face turned ashen. Bai Dahai, UF** King betrayed Laozi. You don't want your wife and daughter to live anymore. Haowen shouted himself hoarse. Yi Zichen comforted Bai Dahai a bit, then hung up the phone and called Xiao Hai's number. Hi Ji, how are things on your side? I already rescued Bai Dahai's wife and daughter. They are at the Xiao household right now. Yi Zichen raised his eyebrows towards Haowen with a smile. Seeing his stunned expression, he hung up the call with Xiao Hai and patted his face. Haowen, you're too young to play with me. With that, he kicked Haowen to the side of Dongfang Wenny. Chapter 138. Yu Lao, the first agent Bai Dahai, had already left with his wife and daughter. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled when he recalled the scene of their meeting. Brother Hai, thank you so much. Don't treat Brother Hai like an outsider. Xiao Hai frowned unhappily and poured him a cup of tea. Try it. This is the Dahong Pao that Brother Hai asked someone to buy for a high price. I'm not good at tasting tea. You know that. Yi Zichen picked up his teacup and took a sip. Not bad. You only know how to say these two words. Xiao Hai shook his head and smiled. Very quickly, he retracted his smile. Are you sure you want to do that? The person behind Haowen is not ordinary. I feel that if you get rid of this unstable factor, Bai Dahai, it will be enough. Humans are greedy. Yi Zichen twisted his neck meaningfully, then crossed his legs. If Haowen is allowed to continue like this, he will always be a factor of worry for me. Since he has someone backing him up, it's not a bad idea for me to get in touch with that person. Xiao Hai sighed softly. He could feel Yi Zichen's determination from his expression. Although he kept on calling Yi Zichen Hai Ji, Xiao Hai felt like he didn't understand Yi Zichen. He was mysterious and resourceful. Everything about him was unfathomable. Xiao Hai nodded as he finished the tea in his cup with a smile. Then Big Brother Hai won't try to persuade you anymore. Take care of yourself. Haha, Brother Hai, don't worry, I'm not a child anymore. Yi Zichen laughed, then couldn't help but ask when he suddenly thought of Zhuge Kongming from the supermarket. Brother Hai, is there any progress on the news I asked you to spread in the circle? Xiao Hai stared blankly for a while before he reacted. You mean that kid called Zhuge Kongming? Yes. Yi Zichen nodded noncommittally. This child had stayed by his side for too long. Although raising such a child was nothing to him, he had too many secrets around him. He couldn't let him stay like this forever. Moreover, parents who lost their children would also be anxious. No news. Xiao Hai shrugged and said, Dongfang Wenny and I have spread in the circle, but I haven't heard of any family in the imperial capital that had a son run away from home. Could it be from somewhere else? Yi Zichen knew the reason why the child ran away from home. Perhaps the child was afraid that Yi Zichen would find his parents through some channels, so he intentionally made up a fake address. You should know how your brother Hai does things. I also thought that he might not be from the imperial capital, but I haven't heard of any children running away from home in other provinces. This time, it was Yi Zichen's turn to worry. Just what is Zhuge Kongming doing? He looked like a child from a rich family, but there was no news about him in the circle. Could it be that Zhuge Kongming's family circle was different from Xiao Hai's, or could it be that his parents didn't care at all? If that was the case, then his parents were too careless. Xiao Hai raised his eyebrows when he saw the worry on Yi Zichen's face. Why don't I help you ask around in other circles? Then I'll have to trouble Brother Hai. After leaving the Xiao family estate, Yi Zichen rubbed his head, unsure of what to do. Xiao Yumei was a workaholic, and he didn't want to disturb her when she was free in the jewelry store, Su Yen and Xia Kiki had classes in the afternoon. Thinking about it, it seemed like the only place he could go was the small supermarket. There hasn't been anyone causing trouble in the supermarket recently, right? Yi Zichen sat on the chair in front of the cashier counter and smoked. To be honest, it was pretty nice to have a little shop assistant like Zhuge Kongming. At least someone cleaned the supermarket, so it looked rather clean. There hasn't been anyone causing trouble, but there were a few that came to buy goods. However, I sent them away with the excuse that the supermarket wasn't open yet. Zhuge Kongming took out a can of Coke from the fridge and took a sip, then pouted. Zichenji, I've always been very curious. Why did your supermarket open when it wasn't selling goods? The moment he said that, Yi Zichen instantly rolled his eyes. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Oh. Zhuge Kongming twitched his mouth in annoyance, then ran to the entrance of the supermarket to look at the sky. Yi Zichen also felt troubled as he looked at the goods in the supermarket. He didn't know what was going on with the heavenly court, but no one came to find him to purchase goods. This didn't match his expectations of selling well. He looked at Yu Lao's moments. Everyday's promotions were pretty good. Why didn't they find him to purchase goods? Monkey Bro, Beiji and Erling Shin shouldn't be counted on. According to Yi Zichen's recent observations, the three of them weren't cut out for this. However, Immortal Lady, he was even more troubled. Yi Zichen blanked out for a long time as he looked at Immortal Lady, his profile picture in the chat group. Only she had the 9-heart lotus root. However, he didn't know her. What's more, this Immortal Lady had just entered the group. If he added it hastily, it might have the opposite effect. What's more, the 8 immortals might not be interested in the carbonated drinks in his hands. Ding dong. Ding dong. At that moment, Yi Zichen's phone vibrated a few times. Someone said in the spokesperson group, Yu Lao, great deity. Yu Lao, only idealism, great deity. This geezer is looking for me in the spokesperson group. Could it be that the sales have been settled? Here. Great deity, purchase goods. At that moment, at Yu Lao's residence in the heavenly court, Yu Lao, who had a head full of white hair and 2 dark circles under his eyes, looked like he hadn't rested for a long time. However, his eyes revealed a light of excitement. That was the light that would only appear when a businessman saw profits. You want to be a representative? Yeah, I want to be a representative. Alright, private chat. Not long later, a message appeared in Yu Lao and Yi Zichen's private chat. Yu Lao, great deity, I need a long list of product information and required quantity was written on it. From the looks of it, he was going to open a supermarket in the heavenly court. Yi Zichen did a simple calculation. If these goods all had at least 100,000 cultivation experience, then it would definitely be a huge deal for him. If it was any other time, he definitely would have directly sent the goods over without saying anything. However, he had a bit of a problem. Do you know Immortal Lady He? Of the 8 immortals, Immortal Lady He? Yes, that's her. Do you know her? Of course I do. I was the one who messed up her marriage with Han Xiangzi back then. So it was all because of this old guy. When Yi Zichen knew that Immortal Lady He and Han Xiangzi were young, he felt that it was rather a pity that they weren't together. He didn't think that Yu Lao was the one behind all this. More importantly, his marriage had been ruined by the other party. Their relationship should be rather tense. Then is your relationship with Immortal Lady He good? Very good, Yu Lao suddenly replied. Yi Zichen was a bit confused when he saw this message. Wait a minute. Their marriage was messed up, but their relationship was still very good. You're not lying to me? How would I dare to lie to Great Immortal? My relationship with Immortal Lady He is really quite good. Sure. Yi Zichen pursed his lips and smiled. Then introduce Immortal Lady He to me. If you succeed, then I'll give you a 20% discount when you purchase goods from me in the future. This. He thought that Yu Lao would agree immediately, but he actually hesitated. After a long time, he sent a tentative message.